last time in Renascence, you guys arrived in the city of Chaser, following up on the long-seated quest to recover Gerald's Gatewatch armor. While in town, you had some plans to look into some other stuff as well, and boy oh boy did we sure find some other stuff. You guys' first stop was the Crimson Claw Inn, a very large establishment catering to visitors to the city and to its magic item market. You spoke with Henry Kitcher, as I recall his name was, the proprietor of this establishment, and after a little bit of back and forth, you guys set up a more private meeting to discuss the particulars about Horrible Leafbelly, Kitcher's associate in town, and the halfling responsible for the theft of Gerald's armor. After that, you guys kind of split up. Burberry went to look into the temples of the city and found that there was, in fact, a Temple of Kur on the edge of town. They spoke with the priest there. I believe their name was Brizonet, and able to learn a few things about the priesthood of Kur, a little bit about the situation here in town as far as the conflict with the Leviathan cult, as well as the fact that there's been a string of disappearances in Chaser. Artificers and mage rights have been vanishing, apparently abducted from their homes, and it's made people very, very leery of strangers in the streets. At the same time, Aloran and Adlar stumbled across some graffiti praising the Leviathan, and quickly found a little hideout where a couple of apparent cultists were holed up, keeping watch. They killed one, subdued the other, called the rest of the party. You guys assembled in this apartment, and then proceeded to interrogate the survivor with the aid of a filter of love. And over the course of this hour, you guys wove quite the story of this man's future with Aloran, as you pumped him for information about the cult and its activities in Chaser.
Ironically, he used a potion of love to break his heart.
Yeah. And at the end of the hour, as the filter's powers waned, he came back to his senses, realized what he had done, and dejected, waited for you guys to finish him off, put him out of his misery.
And we did.
Definitely one of
Buddy, you are
more unpleasant things we've done.
Yep.
Get down.
That was pretty fucked. I like how that's like the first thing Adler got to saw us do too. Was probably the most fucked up thing we've ever done.
He's jumping in the deep end of the Lost Emeralds adventure.
Low-key. After that encounter, you guys went back to the Crimson Claw, got yourselves some dinner, touched base with Henry, and then went to look at your rooms. One of which appeared to be, and these were keys that Henry had given you, one of these appeared to be Henry's personal quarters. And as you explored this chamber, you found evidence of foul play. And stepping into the bathroom, discovered a body wrapped up in a shower curtain. Inside, you found Henry Kitcher's vacant eyes staring back at you, and were immediately greeted by knocks at the door, and opening it, found Henry Kitcher standing, waiting to speak with you. And
No,
it
we
turned out
didn't.
that this was...
We didn't get to that part yet. You ended with Kitcher in the tub.
No, we did.
No,
We did.
Oh,
You
that might have been after I
disconnected.
disconnected, right?
Yeah.
Forgot
Yep.
about that.
You missed like 2 minutes.
I'm sorry.
It was a pretty crucial 2 minutes, though. Henry Kitcher was standing at the door to this apartment space, and as soon as he kind of caught wind of your faces and got a sense of perhaps what you might have found, seemed practically elated as he stepped inside and revealed himself to be Sandy, your old associate from Freeport. So, we are picking up here in this living quarters. Buddy, can I help you? Come on, pick a spot. Go lie down. And it's the 6 of you, or 5 of you. Yeah, no, 6 of you with Adlar. And the now revealed changeling rogue Sandy. Are there any questions before we get started?
Could you describe...
So Sandy's happy to see us.
Yeah,
Sandy is very excited.
the last
Yes.
thing she said in the session was like, "Oh, you guys are looking for Corvold too," or something like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Could you describe what Sandy looks like again? Because it's been a long time.
Well, she is currently wearing Henry Kitcher's clothes, which were just kind of like a white button down with like a dark vest and slacks, and nice leather shoes. But she is a changeling woman, shaved sides to her hair with kind of like a long, pulled back ponytail, kind of going down her back. I think the last time you saw her, it was braided, but now it's just loose and pulled back. Like she's kind of in work mode. It looks like.
Mm-hmm.
Very striking figure.
Okay. And this is still our first day in Chaser, right?
Yep.
I got no other questions.
Okay. Cool. And I mean, I would say she, as she is kind of shifting out of Chaser's sort of shape, she is sort of reaching into a pack and starting to kind of pull out some accoutrements to just kind of make herself comfortable with. She pulls out a flask first off, unscrews the top, takes a swig, kind of offers up to the rest of the party if anyone's
Ooh.
interested in a drink.
Yes, please.
Yeah, I
Always.
thought you would be. So she'll pass you the flask.
No,
She
no,
pulls
no.
out.
I was gonna say just instinctively closing the door just to make sure.
Oh no,
else
for
walks
sure.
in.
Yeah. She pulls out this red cloak and just kind of like throws it back over her shoulders. Kind of pops the collar a little bit, kicks back on a chair, kicks her feet up, and just kind of looks at you all with a big smile. Says, "Cannot believe you guys came round today of all days. Man, this really worked out actually. Maybe. Well, maybe. How is everybody? It's been a while."
A little surprised.
I mean, we knew she was in town. Is it really that surprising we ran into her?
I guess not. Why did you kill our contact here?
Well, didn't know he was necessarily important to you, but he was to me in a not great way. I mean, he's Corbel's boy, right? And I'm looking for Corbel, obviously. So, I do as I do, and took his space, took his place.
He was working for Corvold?
Yeah. Did you not know?
No, I don't think so. We understood him to be our more trustworthy contact in town, actually. But we're looking for Corvold because of a betrayal.
Right, your Gatewatch buddy.
Yes, right. We
He
told
got jumped.
you everything.
Yeah. No, Kitcher worked for Corbel. He was sort of the public face of the whole operation. Unbeknownst to many in town. And he stuck by him after Corbel cut ties. So, he picked his side, and arguably he picked wrong. So, here we are.
Okay,
My apologies if this is terribly inconvenient for you, but
Burberry can help us, right? Burberry.
I mean, we might be able to pool some resources here, honestly. I mean, you're looking for Corbel because of this whole situation with your friend, right? The Watcher guy.
Yeah. Could I insight check the last stuff about Kitcher working for Corbel?
Yeah, sure.
16?
Scene. I mean, you've dealt with Sandy before, and you definitely know she is a fucking stone-faced liar when she wants. Like you cannot read this woman. If she is lying to you, it is not showing at all.
Okay.
I would say, with the 6, it feels sincere, but knowing who you're talking to, that may or may not count for anything.
Yeah, that's fair. Why are you looking for Corbel?
Well, he used to work for my boss, right? Well, my current boss, Petio, right? You remember the family.
Of course.
He was sort of one of the sub-jefes in town, and well, I mean, he started getting funny a few months back, but this past month he's gone completely dark. We haven't heard anything from him, but we were sort of in the midst of dealing with your family situation, right? So we weren't really able to commit much to it. But now that that's all sort of settled down a bit, finally got some free time to come up and look into things. So, yeah.
And you wouldn't lie to us, would you?
Not unless it suited me, which it doesn't right now.
Well, I'll insight check that. Okay, yeah. What's my... Oh, wrong character. I saw a +3 on insight, and I was like, the fuck?
Yeah.
Sus.
this?
Weird.
This is a Lauren.
Yeah, Lauren has like a +8. Alright, so that is a 21.
What I rolled.
I mean, it is really hard to say because she is just unfazed, unflappable, big grin on her face. Like she's clearly excited. That does not feel like an act, but you really couldn't say as to the rest of it. It sounds like it could be sincere, but like Noelle feels, that may or may not count for anything. Talking to Sandy, knowing how you've dealt with her in the past, and knowing what she's capable of.
It sounds like you have a day ahead on us as far as this investigation goes. Have you found anything?
Well, I found Henry, which wasn't too hard, truth be told. But at present, I am still waiting for step 2 to sort of fall into place.
Which is what?
I imagine it's someone coming to talk to her.
Bingo. The priest got it. Yeah, no, I mean, you know how this sort of thing works. You sneak in, take someone's place, and you just kind of lie in wait, until the right person comes in with the right information, and then you can make your move.
I can't say I've ever done things exactly like this, but I definitely understand what you're saying. So you
It's
just
an option.
intend to be Henry Kitcher until something comes along.
For the foreseeable future. I mean, Henry's got enough people around here. The place could run itself without him for a day or two if need be, so I'm not terribly worried about this place falling apart in my absence. But I think when this is all said and done, Calabai is probably going to come back into town, take over, kind of get things back in track. I gotta say, though, I am curious about this Watcher situation you guys are in. This armor that Corbel stole. You said it was, what, 3 months back? 4 months back?
Something like that.
Right. This wouldn't have anything to do with some kind of like a mirror thing, would it?
No,
Like a pain?
Pain of
a tranquil
glass.
pain.
I don't know if that's something or other.
Yes, that does have to do with that.
Right. Well, look, I mean, show a good faith. You know, she'll put her hands up. It's like, I do have a bit I might be able to share if this is of interest to you and your friends, right? This whole situation seems to have started right around the time Corbel was kind of shopping this mirror around, right?
Oh, so you had the mirror?
Yeah, I remember Gerald's whole thing was like that was why he was going in the first place, wasn't it? Because
Yeah, I
there was
didn't-
a rumor
I-
of a
it
mirror
was
in
like-
Chaser.
Yeah, it was like a rumor, not like officially. Like, yeah, they had it.
Yeah.
I
Right.
think this is it becoming officially.
Well, I mean, I haven't seen the thing. I've got letters from Corbel, right? Or at least Petio has letters from Corbel. Said he had a mirror, said he was shopping it around, he had some clients lined up, one was a watcher, one was some mage out of Gyarados. You know, he had some options. But, we never really heard back about it. Didn't hear if he ever closed that sale. And, it was about that time he started getting real spotty in his communications. And like I said, last month he's gone completely dark. We haven't heard anything from him since several weeks before Solstice. So, you know, that whole situation is semi-relevant to the proceedings. But if it's news to you, happy to share it, right? And I do this by way of wanting to ask, really, I suppose. Since we happen to be looking into the same fella,
Mm-hmm.
would you perhaps be interested in perhaps pooling resources, so to speak?
How so?
I mean, I work with you, you work with me, we get Corbel together, save ourselves some headache. Competition. I hate for this to turn into a race, you know, which I understand things are complicated between us. I could see it heading that direction. I'd like to head it off, you know, if I can. And this doing my due diligence, obviously, trying to. If we could work together rather than competing over this, it'd definitely be a good bit of pressure off of my shoulders.
Well, I would have no problem with it as long as we can get back the thing that we need and or able to talk to him before, you know.
Yeah, I'll see why not. I've got some questions for myself if I can get him. Get him to talk.
Well, I respect the effort to head off any additional complication in our relationship. If we are all working toward the same initial goal of finding Corbel Leafbelly, then I suppose there's no reason why we couldn't work together.
All right. Good. Good.
I have to admit, we've done this song and dance before, working with, no offense, slightly shadier folks, in order to work toward our collective goal. And every time it seems to go horribly, so you'll forgive me if I'm a little trepidatious.
Well, I will say that the group that you are working for the Furbolg gentleman, right?
Yes, Petio Calabaya and his family.
To be fair, every dealing that we've had with the Calabaya family, discourse aside, they've been pretty chill, let's be real. I mean, they've been entirely reasonable, and we did come to an agreement, and they haven't broken it or tried to stab us in the back at all. As far as I'm concerned, their honor is unmarred at this point.
So far.
I will be happy to pass along that compliment. I'm sure Petio will appreciate that.
Well, I mean, there's honor among some thieves.
Fair enough. I mean, I can say this for the Calaboyers. They are certainly one of the more, how to say, restrained families I've worked with, really, in the past. There's some folk out west do some real unhinged shit on a whim, right? And it's exciting, don't get me wrong, but I can't say it makes for a terribly stable work environment. I've been working for a dad one week, worked for a son the next, and the grandson, week after that, and it definitely calls into question. Am I getting paid for all of this, or is this just going to end up being a big waste of my time this month? But Petuel's pretty solid. He's a consistent fella, and he's not one to rock the boat if he don't need to. And as far as I'm concerned, right, I'm here to do a job. I'd like to do it quick, and I'd like to do it painlessly if I can help it. This is not exactly my preferred avenue of activity, but, Petio and I have some business to settle before, I can be on my way. And this will help go a ways towards, setting that back to zero, so.
Do you have a lot of experience on Chaser?
Oh yeah, I've been through here a few times. Nice city, honestly.
And of the underbelly? There's always an underbelly. Underbellies are exciting!
Easy is it to steal stuff from the black market?
I mean, even if the fact of the matter is, let's be completely honest. We have no idea where the black market is at this point. We've never been here. We don't know the city's layout. We know nothing.
Answer me this question. What do you picture when you say black market?
Oh, I don't know. I just want to steal shit.
I'd say a normal market, except for a little more thievy, a little more backstabby, and.
Are you thinking like stalls, storefronts, some sort of maybe like a cave, right?
Not a cave. I'm thinking like tents.
Okay. I imagine some folk run things out of tents. It's a network, really, here in town, right? Or networks as it is. I mean, Chase is a hub for a reason, right? There's probably 6 to 7 major families operating out of Chaser. Calaboyers being one of them. 8 now, if Corbel manages to get his footing.
Do all y'all have an agreement of some kind while you're all here, since it's a hub, or is there constant discourse between you all?
Lately, it's been pretty quiet, at least. Well, again, like I said, since this Corbel thing started, at least since before Corbel started cutting ties. I mean, it's family businesses, right? I mean, these things can be cutthroat if someone says the wrong thing to the wrong fellow at the wrong time. But the goal is quiet, smooth, prosperous commerce for all, if we can manage it. And for the most part, I think folk around here are pretty level-headed about things. They manage it pretty well. And while I appreciate the impulse as she looks at you, Lauren.
Don't tell me I can't steal stuff.
Well, I can't say I would recommend it. At least not from anybody connected, as it were.
So you're saying we can steal from the new guy because he's not connected yet, right?
That is part of the reason I wanted to talk to y'all.
So I just can't go, ooh, I like this thing. Hey, Adlar, come help me. I mean, just kidding. You don't have to help me. I can do it myself.
Adlar, right? Pleasure to meet you. As she'll extend a hand to shake his, and he's just... Adlar's been sitting here just kind of like, this is much more intensive than I was expecting of a conversation, He's just sitting quietly back, like eyes wide, listening to everything.
This is a rough day for you, isn't it? I'm so sorry.
Would not say rough. Eventful. And Sandy's like, oh, what'd you get up to today?
We killed a couple people earlier, so... And then
First day in town, that was fast.
And then it was kind of fucked up. We got one of them to fall in love with me, thought we were gonna have a life together, and then we killed him.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wait, does Sandy have a look of, oh yeah, I've done that before?
I mean, she looks genuinely impressed. She's like, it usually takes me at least a week to make that happen. That's
Goes a
impressive.
lot faster when you have a potion.
Oh, that's cheating. She kind of scowls.
To
I could do it.
be fair,
Go for it.
Aloran can't turn into a loved one's face.
Touche.
But
I'll
I
give you that
probably
one.
could do
You
it.
get one freebie like that. We're not counting any others after that.
Give me a mark.
Circling back,
Oh wait, I got one.
stealing from folks who are connected to a family around here, I would not advise it as an outsider. They're not going to take kindly to that. It's picking a fight, right? And they're going to come looking for you. They're going to become looking for their goods. If you're looking to maybe squeeze some people around town, by all means, just make sure they don't have any, extracurricular connections, extra legal connections, shall we say. The independents are probably your best pick. Although, she kind of leans back, I have noticed there have been a fair number of boarded up doors and windows in town lately.
Yeah, it's because of the cult.
They've been kidnapping people.
Or
Wow.
why we had to engage them earlier today.
Look, I'm not judging. By no means.
Actually, you might want to make sure that none of the people of the Calabaya family has been nabbed, because they've been going for craftsmen.
I haven't heard anything about it, but I could probably check in with some folks later, see if as well.
If anything,
Especially if they have boarded up windows.
yeah, I was gonna say if anything, even if there hasn't happened to them yet, there's a high possibility that it could.
Well,
And we'd hate it if you lost anything that, made money for the Calabaya family.
Well, like I said, they're not mine, so to speak. They're the Calabayas, and they haven't said anything to me about this particular problem, so I'm not exactly chomping at the bit to get involved. Sounds like a lot of extra work for not a lot of payoff, personally. But shooting from the hip, doesn't sound like Calabayas are being targeted. Which makes me wonder if any of the families are being targeted, which makes me wonder if it's not independents that are being targeted. Easy marks. People ain't got protection, people who are easy to grab, So,
Oh, that could be a fun protection racket. Apparently, I'm not talking about that.
I think if you're looking for easy pickings, it sounds like you're up against this cult. So, best of luck on that front.
But what if it's like I see something that I want specifically? So you're saying I shouldn't do it?
Again, it pays to know who you're stealing from.
Okay, so I'll just check in with you first before I steal something. Cool.
I'm not doing your homework for you. Come on.
Aren't we supposed to be helping each other, making each other's lives easier?
We are, and
That doesn't sound like you're making my life easier.
vis-a-vis this Corbel situation, right? Speaking of which, as I said, I wanted to circle back to that. Corbel used to work for Petshore. Corbel has likely a very large amount of merchandise that is unpaid for, undocumented, has not been relayed back to Petshore and the Calabayas. If we are able to find his stash, which I'm hoping to, safe assumption much of it is going to be old Calabaya property. I can't say I would be ecstatic to be telling Petshore, yeah, I handed off a few things. Fair's on. Although, we could reach some sort of arrangement if we're feeling chummy.
I mean,
I'm
if we
feeling
get to
tummy.
that point, then we definitely need to be taking the armor, whether you're okay with that or not.
Oh, and the
Well-
pain.
And the pain, if we can find it. That's why we came here.
Well, like I said, all record of that particular item, this magic mirror. We didn't hear anything more about it after he last mentioned it a few months back, saying he was going to start shopping around for buyers. Said he had a couple meetings lined up, and that was the last that we heard of it. So as far as we know, he's already sold it.
And if we find it, we say he sold it. That way,
persuasion
there's
check.
that way there's no skin off of your teeth. How to use my inspiration? That's all the inspiration I got, though. I had two. I went last week. I went this.
Take mine.
Somebody
How'd it go?
Somebody else should make this roll.
I'm not the one who said it.
What'd you get?
What did you even say? Were you just trying to convince her to like?
If the mirror is still a 4.
First, hold it.
You gotta put that shit in dice jail. That is unacceptable.
They're all different dice.
There's just no escape.
The first one was a 2.
When does it stop becoming
Oh.
a jail and become a prison at that point?
It's become dice home.
Yeah.
But no, Burberry's pitch was if the mirror is still in Corbel's possession, he sold it. Wink. And
That
you
way she
didn't
could-
find it. Wink.
Yeah, so
Right.
she could report back and not have to get into a fight with us, because
Yeah.
that's the thing that we want.
I mean, she could lie about it. She's very good at that.
Yeah, okay, so for the record, I should never make any kind of persuasion anything. I have a +0 in all of that.
Oh,
Not my
Gotcha.
skill set.
I will say with that 4, Sandy will just kind of hold up a hand and say, if he still has it in his possession, which I highly doubt, we'll talk about it then, I think.
Thank you.
But
Thank
my
you, Clint.
assumption,
Thank you.
my assumption is that he sold this thing and pocketed the cash, because that was the last big ticket item he had communicated with us about. He stopped reporting back after that, right? Or at least consistently. But the mirror he has completely neglected to inform Petio about. My suspicion is he managed to sell it to somebody, pocketed that cash, and he's been using that to fund his little startup operation here. So I could be wrong. I'm not disputing that. You know, I could well be wrong. But having been doing this for a bit, that is my personal working theory. As far as this armor goes, we don't have any record of it. I don't particularly care what you do with it. If you want it back, by all means, you're welcome to it. But as far as picking from the loot, hoard, whatever it may be, that may be a conversation, right, before we just start pocketing things. Fair? Save me some trouble, save you some trouble with the Calabuyers down the road, right?
That is indeed what we're trying to avoid, yes.
All right. Well, if we're on board with this, and she kind of glances back to you, Noel, because she sees that you're kind of, sitting back, kind of observing and listening.
Yeah.
Saying, if we are on board with this, I do have some additional information that I could share, more operationally relevant information. Maybe we can put our heads together, come up with a better, faster, more effective plan. I don't know. But you guys seem like you're on top of this sort of thing. And I don't envy going up against you again. So what do you say?
It's fair. This is not our area of expertise. And you know a bit more about all of this than we do. So this is probably a good starting point.
To your advantage, then. All right. So, since we're in agreement, she'll extend a hand.
I'll shake it.
I'm
if
not
nobody else
shaking
does.
any more villains' hands.
Cool.
I'm done.
I'll shake it.
All right. We're working together. We're taking Corbel. And we're not getting in anybody's way. That's all we're doing, right? Plain and simple. So, she'll kind of reach into her pocket and pull out this little slip of paper. So Corbel, he's sort of the old head of things around here, right? And now that he's making his break for it, he is de facto head of his little posse. He does have some important people working under him. Henry back here, he was one of them, right? He was in charge of money laundering and public relations, shall we say, right? He's out of the picture. He's got two other primary officers, right? Lurik, orc fella. He's in charge of security. And then a fella named Belisar, right? Who's in charge of enforcement and collections, right? Now, Durik used to work primarily out of the old Calabaya warehouse down by the waterfront. Obviously, they've since moved. Don't know where they're set up yet. That's part of why I'm here. Belisar, though, does work out of Freeport, out in the streets consistently. He's out and about, and he's got people under him, right, enforcers. There's Eleanor, Emma, and Gwynedd. All of them in enforcement. I'm hoping one of those four stops by at some point in the near future, right? Touches base, and we can somehow get Corbel's location out of him, one way or the other, right? I mean, if we got to pull him into a room, knock him around a bit, that's fine by me. If I can talk it out of him, also fine by me. Calabuyers will deal with him if we don't. Problem is, I don't know their schedule. I don't know when they'll be around, so we're sort of waiting a bit.
I mean, we do potentially, maybe not today, but we do have a font of knowledge sitting dead in the bathtub that we might be able to talk to.
Can you do that?
One of us can.
You just hear like a from her.
From the robes.
No, from top.
Oh, from top. Sandy's like, well, that's a nice trick. Okay, yeah, by all means, please. She'll immediately stand up.
You might want to stay out of it, though. He might not want to talk to you. Most people are very happy with the people who murdered them.
She will immediately change her face to look like she'll look like a smaller Barnaby. Just like 5.5 feet tall, red skinned hobgoblin.
Perfect.
Wait a second. I get on my knees. Where have I seen this person before?
Son?
You might want to
Family
take a minute,
reunion?
buddy. She'll say, like, yeah, come here. Help me with the legs. And she'll go into the bathroom and she'll start trying to heft Henry's body out of the tub.
We don't need to move him.
Oh, really? You can just talk to him right here.
Yeah.
Oh,
See
I
why
mean,
not?
I can talk to him, but I don't think he's going to say anything to me.
oh, well. She'll just drop the body and just thunk back into the tub. Have at it, by all means.
Oh, go ahead and speak with. Oh wait, give me a second. I didn't prep my spells. He's like, whenever I haven't prepped, or whenever I'm about to switch spells, like if I haven't prepped the right ones for the day, I feel like Burberry just like rapid fire flips through his book of spells. Like, okay, wait, which one do I
yes,
need?
I can do that.
Look, I attic theory. I can only remember so many things at a time.
I get it. I forget spells all the time.
Yeah, like once every level.
Yeah, what's the level?
All right, so I'll cast Speak with Dead.
Okay. And you cast this spell, Burberry. You feel this presence in the room as you finish the incantation. And for that split second, you kind of glance up in the mirror and you can see this sort of dark winged figure, the shadow, kind of standing behind you, extending their hand out, mirroring your posture over the corpse. But you kind of look back, there's nothing there. You look back, there's nothing in the mirror. And at your feet, lying in the tub, you see Kitcher's corpse. Take a deep, raspy breath. The eyes flicker open, bloodshot and glassy. And the head just kind of falls to the side and makes eye contact with you.
Okay, so you can ask 5 questions. Be careful that they're not stupid. Although that would be very funny.
Like, what's his favorite flavor of ice cream?
Yes, that would not be a good question to ask.
Cinnamon cardamom.
Ooh, that is a good flavor.
Stop candy.
Burberry, do you think you can go out, or Barnaby, do you think you can go outside for a second?
All right. I didn't think you'd talk to me. I was honestly impressed. On account of him being dead and all.
What? No. I'm dead.
Barnaby
Right.
needs to leave right now. Barnaby, we love you
All right. I
and
can
your
tell when I'm
charm,
not one.
but you gots to go.
Sandy's just got a hand over her mouth like, oh my god, this is fucking trippy.
What were the names of the 3 people under Belisar? Because I didn't get to write those down in time.
Eleanor, Ina, and Enid?
So those are the enforcers under Belisar. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Eleanor, Emma, and Gwynedd
Emma.
are under Belisar.
I wrote them on my artboard.
Okay, I guess I will step up and say, what was there? Kitchen. Yes, okay. Henry Kitcher. Our group has been sent here to Chaser to investigate your death. We are currently tracking down some leads, and we believe that your murderer may have been in cahoots with one of your contacts. Either a person named Durek or Belisar? Do you know if there's anyone, or how we might be able to find anyone connected to either of them?
The eyes just kind of roll back into the head a little bit as though the corpse is thinking. There is the cove.
You're cutting out a little bit. What was that?
Oh. Durek is at the cove. Belisar is in town. Somewhere.
Would they... How often would they come into your establishment? Did you have any plans upon your death to meet with either of them in the near future?
These are 2 separate questions.
Well, let's go with the second one.
Okay. Do we have any plans to meet with them in the near future? Belisar sends the girls every few weeks.
How would we be able to find or get into the cove?
Uh,
What was that? You're cutting out again.
I've never been.
And clarification out again. What was the... Durek was at the cove and Belisar was what?
Belisar is in town.
It's just in town. Oh, how helpful.
I mean, he could have been out of town.
True. Do we have one or two questions?
That was
3 questions.
3 questions. I'll give you the 2 just because I know we were fucking around.
I'll kind of glance to the party. I feel like I maybe have gotten off track here. Ideas?
Burberry will just look at Sandy like, well, anything else?
Probably guess the answer, but what are the girls in town for? Or what do the girls come to visit him for? Excuse me.
Information that's useful to us?
It could be, depending on what the girls are for. That question is asked in the general direction of the corpse.
You want to ask?
I mean, it sounds like a good
Okay.
thing to know. Because, like, I mean,
Alright.
they could be hookers, they could be spies. You never know.
Is this where Lorne becomes a hooker again?
Opal returns!
Please, Mel.
Hello. Opal's back, bitches.
So asking what did the girls visit Henry for? His corpse will respond. They deliver coin. For cleaning.
Oh, he's a laundromat.
Sandy's just kind of nodding, like, yeah, I thought.
What?
He's a laundromat.
Laundrette.
That sounds fucking
That's the word.
boring.
Hey, it makes your money look pretty and legit. He shrugs.
One of the question that's immediately jumping to mind is like, how many weeks ago did they last visit? That gives us a timetable, but it seems like he doesn't know a ton about where to go. So that might be our best bet.
I mean, if the girls are bringing coin, presumably they're bringing it from this cove, right? So, seems like they would know. Unless they're getting it from an intermediary. In which case, we got another step, we gotta, blah, blah, blah.
How directly under Corbel was, under Leaf Belly was Kitcher? Was it like top man or just another peon?
Well, I mean, he ran the Crimson Claw for him. So, pretty important fella to the operation in town. Definitely not a peon by any means. Can't say he was necessarily on level with Dura Cabellasar, but, not being a musclehead, you're not gonna be.
I mean, you could also ask if he has any indication of what happened to Corbel. If he had any clues or hints before he died of what was going to go down.
Are we asking about Corbel in the near future, just in general? What are we clarifying here?
I don't know, just information about what became of Corbel, like what he's doing, where he's at, what his plans are, what his intentions are. Anything might be useful.
Sure.
But that's not as direct as just asking when those girls are going to come in again.
Well, if we aren't direct, he might answer questions that we didn't ask.
I mean, if that's how the magic works, I'm in favor of being more direct than not.
Okay, well, then we'll go with it.
I want to insight check Sandy again. I wonder if she doesn't want us to ask about his ties to Leaf Belly. Whoa.
22?
22.
All right, 23. I can't lie, but I can insight.
I should be able
23.
to insight, but I keep rolling 3s and 6s and 4s, so.
Oh, fuck, that sucks. Burberry with a
it's-
23.
Is it just shy? Is it just shy?
I mean, again, as
Yeah.
the other insightful members of the party have assessed, Sandy is an extremely difficult person to read. I will say
24.
she is definitely a lot more business-like as she's sort of observing this. Like the excitement's kind of died back, and there's definitely like a very intense like focus on the corpse and what it's saying. She's that sort of laid back, relaxed vibe she was kind of putting out earlier is definitely not present. Like she is intent on Kitcher, like watching him, like reading his answers. But
That could just be because she's a good mercenary.
Yeah. For what it's worth, a 23 beats my passive deception.
I'll say with a 23 that doesn't sound. It doesn't sound like she's terribly concerned about his answer to what Corbel's up to. It seems like she genuinely thinks asking about the girls might be more useful.
I was kind of leaning that way anyway.
I'm good at asking whatever. I feel like Burberry's just kind of passively watching at this point and just relaying the questions as given.
Yeah, we'll ask,
Because I don't think we want to know his favorite color, even though I'm dyingly curious.
As of the day you died, when was the last time the girls had come in to talk with you? And yeah, I guess that's it. That's a question.
11 days ago.
Oh, we should just ask the schedule.
It doesn't
When
sound
was
like
the
there was
next
a
time?
schedule.
Or
He says as the head funks back.
Because he just answered, it's like, how often do they come in? He just said every few weeks. I think it's kind of they just show up.
Okay then.
Yeah, that's something. That's gonna have to do for. We'll keep this body around for 10 more days.
I mean, I wasn't planning on doing anything with it, but
I can bring it back.
That
Bring him
is
back?
true. We actually could just bring him right back. It would cost money, but we could do it.
can you?
One of us can. I look over at Burberry again.
Only when it's comedically funny.
Should probably advise Petrol maybe see if he can't get a priest on payroll.
And the tip. Never mind.
You would.
He started saying, I recommend the tip. Never mind.
Ah, come on. I'm sure you can make a recommendation or two. Introductions.
Recommendation? No.
He'll talk. She'll just kind of pat on the shoulder. Business first, though. So, girls come in every few weeks. Haven't seen them in a week and a half. So, it might be a bit.
Investigating more about this cove seems like our best direction, maybe.
Cove's a good word. Yeah, I do like that. Haven't heard anything about a cove until now, so that's good. That's actionable. It's like a coastal, like a little harbor, right? Like a cave, or like a lagoon. Like what exactly is a cove?
Oh, it's a round thing with water in it.
I could try to find it right now. Well, or in the morning after so I can prepare the spell.
Wait, do you know what his people look like, Sandy?
I know none of them. She's like thinking back. I've really only had much dealings with Kitchen myself in the past. I mean, I know names from documentation. I don't know faces yet. Which is why Kitchen was my starting point. That said, I'm hoping to learn some faces here in the next few days, if all goes well. Unless, of course, we can find this cove faster than that, which would be great if you can, actually, Elorn. How would you do that exactly?
I have a spell.
You talking about the one you used to track down Mashiro?
Yup.
Well, if it's a literal cove, that would actually work.
Mm-hmm. If
Okay.
it's not a cove, then that'll be a different problem.
That is good to know.
We could also, again, I don't think today necessarily, but scrying if there's any objects in this apartment that belong to people that he knows.
Oh, I could do that right now.
Did you find anything in here that seemed like it didn't belong to Kitcher and perhaps belonged to an associate?
She starts thinking.
You said the apartment hadn't been picked through when we walked in?
It's not tossed, but it looks lived in.
Okay.
Right, like it wasn't cleaned up, really.
Okay.
Outside of maybe the sheets were changed.
It was more just like Sandy just killed him and took his place.
Yeah.
Okay. We can take a look
So,
around.
yeah, Sandy's seems like, yeah, sure, by all means. She's definitely got a hand in her bag, and you can tell she's kind of like taking an inventory of what's in there, just kind of like sifting around.
She's sifting around her bag for something?
Just seeing what she has.
Oh, I see. Like if she'd picked anything up.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm thinking. So
I shall-
if you want to look through the apartment,
I will investigate the place to see if I find anything not, or distinctly not Henry Kitcher's.
okay.
Yeah. 21?
21. Okay. With a 21 investigation, pretty solid. Kitcher's not the type to necessarily stash secrets in his bedroom. Like, you don't find hidden compartments in the floor. There's no loose floorboards or baseboards that you open up and find money or packages or whatever. His drawers, like, you're checking for false bottoms. You're not finding anything in there. The living space seems to have been pretty deliberately reserved for living. I would say
Can I use a perception check to really?
there are two things that would be not laying out, but that you would find in this search that would strike you as perhaps coming from another person. One more so than the other. One is a letter, which you find in his nightstand.
All right.
It is written in a very fluid cursive, and it is signed by a woman named Vanessa.
Okay.
It is filthy. And it is not this is not a new letter. It has definitely clearly been handled and read many, many times. It is just a long, very densely written sex letter, basically. Just dirty things Vanessa is thinking about doing with Henry.
Yep, got it.
Beyond that, the other item, also in the nightstand, this is like underclothing in the bottom drawer. There is a dagger.
Of course, a dagger.
This is a very pretty dagger. Looks like silver on the hilt and pommel. This dark, deep, kind of reddish brown leather wrapping. Really intricate, sort of floral engraving along the hilt, and the scabbard that it is stored in has an inscription on it in what looks to be some kind of Elvish, or at least it's Elvish script, but you don't recognize the words unless you speak Sylvan.
No, but someone does.
Oh shit!
Okay, I'll put. Sandy, have you ever heard of anyone named Vanessa that's like an important kingpin in the area?
Kingpin Vanessa? No.
Okay.
That's not ringing a bell.
I'll put the filthy note back.
Why? What'd you find?
Nothing relevant to our interests.
Yeah. You do have the dagger with the inscription on the
Yes.
on the scabbard.
Barnaby can read this, but the player of Barnaby is currently muted.
An actual Barnaby has been kicked out of the room.
Well, he was kicked out of the
investigating the
bathroom.
main room now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Sorry. Right.
Are y'all done talking to a corpse now?
Yes, actually, we have something. Can you read this dagger, which is apparently in Sylvan?
Well, it's a Sylvan dagger. What do you want me to read off of it?
There's something on the scabbard?
Okay. And Barnaby
I'll
does
read
speak
it.
Sylvan, right? So you would see a fairly short inscription that says, "Once family, always family."
Andrew scratches his head. Huh. Well, I guess they never had my family. Handed back the dagger.
Okay. When Barnaby says that, I guess I'll glance over to Sandy. Does that sound like a familiar saying or something?
I mean, some variation of it's pretty common. Yeah, sure. Calabaya, probably.
Okay. Well, worth a look at least. Well, I guess we have nothing actionable at the moment, then, until we can look into this cove or scry on someone.
Do you want me to scry on someone?
Well, that's what I was hoping to find something we could use as like a scrying anchor, but because we're gonna have a penalty if we try to scry on someone we don't have any connection to, right?
I mean, we could find out who this Vanessa is.
Feels unnecessary.
Yeah, but she's filthy. Good God.
Can I read it?
Andy's just like looking over the letter.
No, I can't. Okay.
Do what?
Can I read it?
Yeah, come here.
Hell yeah. I feel like Lauren's like, oh shit. Okay.
Yeah, but like, you put it back, Noelle, and I think as soon as you stepped away from it, Sandy was just like right behind you to grab it, and is now like just kind of reading over it.
I feel like Lauren's like, hey Adler, you should read this. Come here.
Somewhat timidly, Adlar will kind of step up and kind of just crane his neck over the two of you. Oh my. Sandy's just gonna. Well, we're tucking that one away for later. Just nose it in her vest.
Okay.
Alright, you can scry? Who do you want to scry? You want to strike Global, maybe? See what he can see?
I'm surprised you guys haven't done that. The Calabaya have like a vast network of people at their disposal? Mages?
Yeah, problem is things are pretty fragmented. You know, we, for security reasons, obviously, don't really mingle aspects of a business. So, you know, not a lot of folks terribly familiar with Corbel, and so far have not had a lot of success with the ones who have. Or at least the ones who know, shall we say. But hey, I'll see what y'all could do. You might have better luck.
Yeah, I'm gonna hedge my bets and say that he's probably got an amulet of non-detection given his line of work. But we'll see.
Here. I'll go for it.
It would
I'll
not
pull out my
surprise me.
little mirror. What's my disadvantage for it or whatnot?
Corbel has to roll a save.
Oh, okay.
I think it's like a +5 or something.
5 or something, probably.
Because you've only ever heard of him, right?
Yeah.
It is going to be... bit of a long... My internet will load, holy cow. It is...
Yeah, no, our
Yes,
internet
it
has
is.
gotten really bad recently.
Yeah.
It's trying.
Lordy. Oh my god. Fucking load. What is it called? Scrying. Okay, so you have secondhand knowledge, and you do not have a connection to him, so he's going to get a +5 on his save. So oh, so that was an 18 on the dice. Yeah, +5. So that is going to be a 23
No, it's my spell save DC, right?
spell save
Yeah,
DC.
that's certainly high.
Okay, yeah, that. No.
No luck.
Nope.
Damn. Well, can't say I'm terribly surprised. Well, you can try and find this cove tomorrow with a spell, right? So, I'm content to wait. Unless you guys have some actionable ideas for tonight.
Nothing immediately jumps to mind.
What's a good place to eat around here?
Besides the tavern downstairs.
Well, I wouldn't want to bother you at your workplace.
It's not my fucking name.
I know, but you're pretending
seems-
it is, so I'm leaning into it.
Right. I mean, there's this spot. It's probably like 5 blocks down, pretty close to the waterfront. Noodle place. Pretty solid.
I'd hope so, otherwise it'd be a soup.
It's kind of a soup. It's like soupy noodles, but sure.
Both! Oh my god!
I feel like Burberry just like grabs Noelle's and Aloran's sleeves and just starts pulling.
Oh,
Burberry, we just had the spring rolls.
we're getting okay. I haven't had the spring rolls. I just saw them.
Oh, you can have the spring rolls. We've been eating out of the box.
Oh, can I have one?
Hey, absolutely.
Like, she's standing there with one actively in her hands, like, I haven't eaten any spring rolls.
I feel like she would invite Adlar or grab him as she gets grabbed.
Well, while they're getting noodles, what do you do? Oh, all right. I guess you're leaving too. Well, y'all have a good dinner. That part's like, she is a lot.
Yes. Guess we're off to get
Y'all
noodles.
can scurry off to get a noodle from restaurant. 10 minutes, 15 minutes of wandering. You eventually find this place. Darkly lit, low ceiling, very, very hot, kind of stuffy environment. Like the kitchen, there's just steam constantly wafting out of the window into the kitchen. But the food that comes out is sizzling and delicious. It is some rich, very hot initially, like fresh off the stove. Kind of a very rich, spicy kind of pho sort of dish.
Okay, well, I don't necessarily trust Sandy, but I do trust her taste in food after this.
It is pretty good. So,
Sorry to ask, could you say the head of the Calbias family name again?
Petyor.
P-A-T-Y-O-R?
I believe so. It's either a Y or a J.
I'm
Might be a
gonna,
J.
I'm just gonna assume it's a J.
Fair. Petyor. Petyor Kalabaya. So Adlar will chime up during this spiel. It's like, so She's like the one from their business last month that you guys were sort of all wrapped up in.
Yes.
Lauren mentioned a few things back then about what was going on.
Yeah. She was one of the people defending my adoptive mother. Time.
Who is not a good lady.
No.
And these Calabaya people, they are...
It's a crime family.
Okay. But we're cool with them. And with this Sandy. And not with this Cordball kid.
Oh, we're cool with them in regards to we don't actively hate them. It's more of an avoidance thing.
We left things on a bit of a ceasefire with them. We weren't gonna fuck with their shit, and they wouldn't mess with us.
So... Okay, so not really looking to exact justice or, take advantage of this opportunity to get close and mess some of their crime stuff up. Just going to take care of business and move on.
I think that would make things tremendously more complicated for us if we tried to...
I just want to clarify, I was not here for any of it, so I am playing catch up.
No, I
over the course of this.
You're clarifying. I'd rather you do that than make a rash decision.
I would definitely prefer not to make a rash decision unless, it is to our advantage, which I do not know if it is to our advantage. It does not sound like it is, so, no decision to make.
That being said,
Are you okay?
As I said, I don't know if I trust Sandy, really, in this circumstance.
You cut out for part of that.
Oh, I don't know if I trust Sandy in this instance.
And what could she be concealing?
So much.
A lot. She's very good at lying. I don't know what her motive would be, but I can absolutely see a future where she uses us as a springboard for some specific goal related to Corbold or any of her missives in Chaser.
I mean, it sounds like she's expecting backup for whatever confrontation emerges about this Corbold. Are we okay with that?
Are you saying that she expects us to be her backup, or she's expecting additional people to come be backup?
No, I think it seems like she's expecting us to be her backup.
Right. So long as it seems like our goals are aligned, there's no reason why we shouldn't.
Me of our enemy and all that.
I'm just saying we need to be very careful with Sandy.
An enemy of our enemy as our friend?
Yes.
I wouldn't go that far.
Okay.
We're trying to get a frenemy.
Final question, final devil's advocate thought then.
Mm-hmm.
Now that we know all this, it is not to our advantage to go for the cove without her. We want to keep her looped in.
At the moment, I think we're going to need Sandy's help.
She knows things.
She seems to know things.
Okay. Well,
I would say we do need to be very careful that we don't make any compromises we're not comfortable with. We do have the upper hand in this arrangement. Sandy said herself she doesn't want to have to get an engagement with us again. And while she does work for the Calabayas, she probably knows that they wouldn't be too bothered if she went and vanished on them. I'm just saying I don't think we should compromise our values if we are not absolutely comfortable with that. We've been in situations before where we've had to work with shady figures, and nothing good ever comes from us just listening to their instructions and doing as they say.
That was my thinking, but hearing you say it definitely makes me feel better about drawing that conclusion. So I think I'm on the same page, personally.
If it seems like Sandy is making a decision that doesn't make sense to us or is against a goal that we have, then we should not let her do that.
Do we kill her to stop her? Or do you just want me to, like, follow your lead?
I think we'll have to play it by ear.
Okay.
Follow the lead, yes.
I'll just...
Also,
Look.
you should really try these.
What did you order? He pulls your bowl over like, oh my god,
Right?
they're good. It's like nutty, but like,
Can I get another one of these?
Yeah, the lizard folk manning the kitchen pokes his head out. It's like, one more coming up.
Yes!
Cat's one-shot character made it into the campaign.
Oh, Akuech, you beautiful bastard.
With that,
Any
other questions?
the only other thing we technically would need to work out is, because Sandy gave us access to his room, presumably to loop us in, but we do actually need another room to stay in.
Oh no, she gave us 2 keys. So she gave us one with a room.
yeah,
and then
you guys had 2 keys. There's the queen or the 2 queen size beds in the room next to that apartment, and then there's the apartment itself.
Oh, she just
So
wants
you
us
guys
to stay in the apartment as well. Gotcha.
I mean, she gave you the key to it, so.
Okay. Alright, well,
I hope she doesn't expect me to clean it, because I will not.
Touche. All right. With that said, is there any other business to attend to tonight before beginning a long rest?
I'll just check in with Adler, see how he's holding up.
Check in private, or do you check in?
In
Did you check in private at dinner?
At private.
Okay.
I think. And he probably just kind of like.
He throws his hands up and is like, I genuinely don't know what's happening. So, I am kind of along for the ride. Like I said, playing catch up, trying to not compromise your game plan, so to say. John's got his arms crossed like all day, kind of mean mugging, and I'm like, okay, I can do that. Do we need that? I'll do that. But I'm also not, 8 feet tall, so I don't know if it has the same effect.
Okay.
It's different. I thought we would be like, going back to the jungle, maybe, checking out like a dirty old temple or something, like some cults, sacrificial altar place, and like killing cultists or something. But this is a little different.
Yeah, no.
It's a lot more talking.
Yeah.
A lot more unease in the pit of my stomach. Not so much with the moral surety I had killing hags.
Yeah, that happens a surprising amount around us for some
we
reason.
do talk a lot.
I feel like we're like the good people, but we do the bad things that the good people can't do. Like
I
the
mean,
people in power and shit. Is one way to look at it.
truth be told, it seems like you guys are simply more competent than a lot of the people working for the people in power. If I'm being perfectly honest.
Fair.
I think they would do it if they could, but most of them can't. I think they're lucky to have you.
Yup.
I guess the one thing that I'm a little worried about, I wasn't worried about it before, but then you guys were like, Adler needs shoes. Adler needs more than a bow. Now I'm like, do I need to go get magic shoes before we go find this cove? Is that a thing that we need to worry about now, or do you think we'll be okay?
We'll be okay for the time being, but we're gonna get you like nicely suited up.
Okay.
It'll be fine.
Like I wasn't worried, but then we talked about it, and now I'm like a little worried, and I'm like,
Yeah, just don't wander too far.
And
then she like kind of laughs. She's like, "I'm just kidding," but also not really.
My goal is typically to find a good dark corner to shoot from, and maybe another one, and just sort of between the two,
Okay, perfect. Yeah, just do that.
That feels a lot safer. I am not quite so kitted as Barnaby.
Yeah.
The man is a tank.
Let
You wanna borrow a Bertha 1? Or I know Bertha 2.
Bertha
You got some
Prime.
fire in them.
I think that might be a little loud for the kind of fighting I do, but thank you.
Well, when you're around me, it's always gonna be loud.
Sure, but I feel like you have a full suit of armor, and I do not. So I would rather not make a lot of noise while I am fighting, if I can help it.
Fair point.
But maybe that changes before we leave Chaser. Who knows? We'll see.
But yeah.
How are you holding up?
Oh,
Barnaby?
All of you, I guess.
oh wait, are you guys part of this private conversation?
I thought it started as a private conversation.
Well,
I
Barnaby and
as a
Barnaby
joke.
walked in, apparently.
Sorry.
I mean, we do only have 2 rooms.
It's true.
You could either have the bloody room or the room that everybody's probably going to be staying. Which one do you want to have a private conversation
The one
with?
with Sandy or the one with everybody else?
Is Sandy in that room?
Probably.
Is she standing the bar? Did you
Sandy,
mention the bar after
I think
dinner?
when you come back, Sandy is like on the couch, feet kicked up on the coffee table, like reading that letter.
Sandy?
Hmm?
Oh my god, really?
She holds up her hands. Like, I was just appreciating Vanessa's
And she'll
penmanship.
slide her the grimy, disgusting book that Burberry.
She like picks it up with like a little flaps. Is like, it's like crunchy.
Yeah, it was a gift from Burberry, so now I gift it to you.
Really? This is Burberry's.
No, I don't think so.
Well, now I'm curious. I won't lie.
I think Burberry got
She'll
it.
stow the letter and start kind of flipping through it.
Shit.
Oh, he's been busy with this one.
This is the
I think
priest book,
Lauren's
he said.
laughing too hard to actually be able to like correct her. And I think Lauren will be like, "Oh yeah, you know Burberry." There's a reason why he
Apparently,
puts
I didn't, but I do now.
he puts a tent up every night, and
Every
even
night. You're kidding.
no, every
Is this
night.
in full view of everyone?
Like we're just sharing a room, and he's got a tent, and but he's
Wrong
doing it.
tent, Lauren! Wrong tent!
Randy Priest. Good for him. I thought Conclave were just a bunch of stiffs. I guess they are. Oh,
No,
that's
Burberry's
good.
preached to me about sex before, so
Barnaby is just putting in the corks in his ears and putting down his visor.
Okay, I have not rolled deception.
do I need to roll deception, dude?
Yeah, sure.
Oh.
I have not preached you
At the
about
very
sex.
least, it's an exaggeration.
No, you have. You were like, it's okay to be la di da.
That's
No,
not
but-
about sex. That's about relationships.
Yeah, Lauren took it as sex.
Lauren conflates the two, I think, is the takeaway from this.
Oh my god, I rolled a nat 1.
Sandy gives no indication that she can tell that this is bullshit. She is
wants
100%
to
invested
believe.
in this.
Did Adlar follow me into this room?
I assume because you guys were talking.
Yeah, I feel like they went to go to a different place. Like, maybe this... Nope, Sandy's in here. Okay, well... Is this
So you're
really...
making Sandy go away, like, yeah, you should go use the bathroom if you're gonna read that.
Wait, so did we only get 2 room keys from her?
That's what I was saying earlier.
I'm not staying here, sorry. I didn't mean to encroach. Just figured, while I had the break, I might take a minute to...
I feel like Lauren's like, I really don't care. I was just clarifying.
I can leave you two alone if you need some time together. I can see a little bit what's going on there. I'll thank you for this. I'll be sure to thank Burberry next time I see him.
I think Lauren's just like, oh god.
Let's see if I can clean this up first, though. Still stow the book in her
Oh,
bag.
if you could, please, for the love of God, because I've been trying to get people to clean it, no one will touch it.
How
Oh, I should have
selfish.
asked frickin'... give that book back to me, because I'm going to play a prank on somebody next time I'm in Freeport, and he's going to be really upset about it. I'm going to love every moment of it.
Before we part ways, for sure, definitely. But if you
Yes.
forgive me, I am
Oh, no, you
Yes.
can keep it for now. Just
definitely curious. I won't lie to you.
I just know someone that actually can clean it, and he's gullible enough that if I hand him a book, he's going to be like, ooh, book, I'm a nerd. I'll clean it, and then he'll look in it and be like, oh, God, that's disgusting. And it'll be beautiful.
Okay, I'm a character. Who are you talking about?
Alexi.
Alexi, yeah.
Okay.
I would love to hear how this goes once you actually pull it off. Please, by all means, let me know.
He's a slut for some books, so
Oh, I'll bet.
he'll love this. Well,
Well,
he'll love it, and then he'll hate it immediately.
I'll leave you two alone and see you in the morning. Eh?
Cool. Lauren's gonna turn to Adlar after that and be like, well, I guess everyone just wants us to fuck, so should we just fuck?
And I was like, I'm sorry.
Oh, no, it's okay. We don't have to. I'm just gonna go to bed. I'm kind of tired.
What is happening?
Poor Adlar.
Clarifying, does Lauren want to try and progress things with Adlar in that direction, or do you want to leave it for now? Shrug.
Shrug.
Okay, we'll leave it for now. That doesn't sound like this is the moment.
She could, but
She
at
could.
the same time, she's like, I could also go to bed.
Yeah.
It's been a weird day.
Sandy makes herself scarce. You're not sure where she goes, but she does not go into the 2-room or the 2-bed suite that the rest of the party is in. She does not come back to the apartment anytime soon. You guys are able to kind of make yourselves comfortable, and if that's everything, start your long rest.
I have one last quick thing.
Yep.
I want to cast something to Gerald.
Oh shit!
I wanted to clarify. So, how do I start? How reliable of a contact was Henry Kitcher? We've uncovered that he was directly working with Corbel, and may also have been responsible for what happened to you. That's all.
There is definitely a pause. That
Actually, I'll also add on, I'll tack on the end of that. Does that sound plausible?
it's not implausible. He was the guy I talked to get a hold of Corbel when I needed to. Fuck. It never even crossed my mind that he was in on it. I won't lie, I'm kind of kicking myself. I'm gonna have some words for him next time I see him. That's for sure.
Might be a while. Yeah, I'll go to bed.
Okay, bedtime.
Might be a very long while.
All right.
How long do I have?
A little under 200 years on average.
Yeah, it's still gonna be a bit before they meet again.
So, with that, you guys tuck in for the night.
Can
Any precautions? Any watches? Or are we just going to sleep?
I'm gonna go to sleep, but I'm gonna tell Adler he has to sleep on the couch. And then I'll be like, I'm just kidding.
He was already grabbing the blankets. Like, I was heading that way, but
She'll just pat the bed.
thank you. You are just full of mixed signals as he
And then
starts
she'll
making
put
fun
up
of
like a little pillow fort, like a line.
that. Okay, good night, Lauren.
I'm just kidding.
As he crawls into the bed.
Lauren, your messages are so mixed it might as well be a smoothie at this point.
You're welcome. Come on, it's funny. Or at least for her, she's like, this is hilarious. Like
Also,
8-year-olds do.
that's a 16 for the quality of pillow fort, blanket fort. Or tent, as the Lord calls it.
Burberry pitches a great tent, a 16 out of 20 tent in the next room.
God dang. Lauren's missing. Burberry pitching a tent. God.
A
damn.
16 out of 20 tent.
No, remember at the very beginning you would make a tent even
Oh yeah,
in
no,
the
I
hotel
remember.
rooms.
That's the reason I didn't correct you until you got to the sermon about porn, because technically everything you were saying was correct.
Yes. Just up in that tent going, wow, book. Silence.
All right.
Sorry.
Like I said, any precautions? Any watches?
I'll
Take
probably
watch.
do watches, yeah.
Will you take watches? Okay, sure. Yeah, give me a perception
well,
check.
I don't think Lauren and Adler are, so if we get ganked.
Alright.
16. One of my
16.
better rolls.
Sitting up, just having somebody awake in the room, gun across your lap while the rest of the party slumbers. You can hear the tavern downstairs. Still audible at this hour, and doesn't really die down over the course of your watch. It is a pretty consistent, distant rumble of laughter and music and clattering dinnerware. And despite that, you only hear a handful of footsteps kind of up and down the hallway over the course of your watch, and none of them stop or linger or mess with the doors of your rooms. And your watch passes without incident.
Success.
What is that?
Glad Barnaby can't read that.
That's great.
Self-love is very important.
I'll take the next watch.
All right.
All right.
Perception.
God. Well, in character for her to be distracted, that's a 10 total.
And yeah, you get a couple hours of sleep and are woken up to take a shift, and it is probably a pretty fitful couple of hours for you. It's a lot to think about and a lot to consider, but no one comes to the door or the windows. Your rooms are left as anyone would leave a random tavern room alone, and your watch will pass without issue.
Guess I'll wake up Burberry next.
Buddy.
All right, let's go.
Perception, please.
21.
Hey, good roll.
This dice is apologizing for earlier.
Over the course of your watch, you definitely hear the crowd downstairs begin to die down. The sound of activity from the tavern on the first floor quiets to a standstill, and before long, the night is completely quiet and still, and you do not hear anything up and about in the building.
Just leaves John.
Yes, it do. I wake up John.
Johnny boy,
Clark.
Clark.
Matt Clark.
He's dead.
Well, I'll roll.
Uh-oh.
Hey, that's an 18 plus John numbers. John's watch will also pass without incident.
Okie doke.
Does anything happen?
In your room?
Yeah. Do we get kicked?
You guys wake up at a Lord and Edlar just mincemeat in the bed.
Bam.
Fucking 9 ring wraiths lining the fucking room.
Yeah, okay.
No, you guys are left alone in your room. No issues. You guys wake up in the morning, bright and early, to a rap on both of your doors, and the voice of Henry Kitcher coming through. Breakfast is waiting for y'all downstairs whenever you're ready.
Yes.
Oh my god, he's back from the dead.
He's alive!
Yeah, we'll be down soon.
Wasn't me.
Burberry got drunk and accidentally resurrected him. Oh yeah, they do that sometimes. I'll just go to the cemetery and resurrect people
corpses. That's a thing.
when they get bored.
It's only whenever I manage to get married drunk enough not to say no.
That's an expensive habit.
And I refuse to kick it.
I think after the party prepares themselves, dresses, cleans up, what have you, you guys head down to the tavern. Relatively empty, not a lot of people present, but there are some folks in for breakfast this morning, and you'll see Henry Kitcher behind the counter give you guys a little wave and nod as you enter the common room, give yourselves a booth, and breakfast is sent out to your tables within minutes of you guys sitting down. No order even having to be taken. It's the exact same dishes you guys ordered the day before. And as you guys dig in, Henry will peel himself away from the bar and eventually step over and say, "Well, what do we have planned for today? Fearsome heroes."
I'm totally just gonna cock an eyebrow at Sandy and be like, really?
Oh, he thinks we're fearsome.
Oh, so scary. Everyone thinks I'm tall and adorable. Or
I'm
hot.
not wanting to overstep my bounds, ma'am. But you're not wrong.
You're not supposed to agree with me.
Chase, you're treating you all right so far?
There was not a blanket fort, and I'm a little disappointed. I mean, there is now, but please tell them not to tear it down.
I was informed that you prefer to pitch your own tents.
This isn't a tent, it's a blanket fort. What?
Oh, Lauren.
As you say, Mr. Burberry. If there's anything else that I can get y'all before you head out for the day, please don't hesitate to let me or the waitstaff know.
glorious because every time I feel like Burr talks in front of Sandy, she probably just thinks he's stupider and stupider.
Burberry is just a very fascinating creature to Sandy. I can talk to the dead. I can potentially raise them. Also, I furiously jerk off in my own camp in front of my party every night. Sandy's just like, really?
Character, Burberry.
But yeah, Henry
What do
Control will.
you think I am, a Lauren?
I have never done that in front of y'all, okay? It has been in the room over with somebody else, and you so happen to hear me. Thank you very much.
So rudely eavesdropping as you were shouting.
I was not shouting.
It's happened at least once, I'll say.
Oh, whatever.
Well, I mean, I know it happened at least once, except at that point you were a hooker, so, you know.
Can we go on break? I think we need to, and I need to go to the bathroom.
Please.
We can take our break.
Alright.
Same. He's back, he bought worldies.
The stream is back.
Alrighty.
Back to it.
So, picking up, you guys, your party's eating breakfast and partaking of whatever beverages you so choose in the morning. Finishing up conversation, and once you are, once you're getting close to finishing eating, I think you'll see, Henry will probably make a point to get out from behind the bar. You'll see him kind of have a brief conversation with one of the staff, right, before he kind of steps into the kitchen and vanishes from view. I think about 5 minutes later, you will see a familiar ginger-bearded dwarven man walk through the doors, take a seat at the bar, and order a pint, seemingly for breakfast, which he will very quickly chug, throw a coin down, and just walk right back out, all in the course of maybe 2-3 minutes.
Do we keep standing waiting just to see what happens?
I mean, at some point we gotta do the commune, right? That was the plan for today.
Oh, I know. I just kind of want to see what happens if we don't come out immediately. She comes back in as a different person, chugs another pint.
She's just stuck in a loop until we
Yeah,
get around.
just want to see what happens.
She does not come back in if you wait.
Darn.
Just
Fine.
go back up to the room and scream with nature.
Go back to bed. I'm actually really tired. I want to go back to
I
bed.
didn't see her down there. I don't know. Maybe tomorrow.
Yeah. I think she just left for some reason. Must be something important. Okay, fine. I'll go outside.
You will see the ginger sandy dwarf sitting at one of the outdoor tables with a newspaper. Just not even really looking. More people watching over the top of the page. And
Okay.
once you're outside, she'll look back and say, "Hey, there you are.
Do I know you?
Hardy har."
I don't know you. Guys, a stranger's speaking to me and I don't know what to do.
Kill
Oh
him.
no, a
I'm facing
stranger.
crippling anxiety. Hell.
This is coming from the same person who ripped someone's head off. I don't really want to hear that.
Come on. It's a bit.
It can make you anxious if their head's gone.
Exactly.
So you just want me to rip off the dwarf's head? He's a
Hey,
stranger.
Excuse
We don't even
you.
know him.
I
Why
would
are we
ready
at-
to
okay.
get moving then.
Yes, why are we out here? Would be my question to Sandy.
Well, you said you could cast a spell to find the cove, right?
Oh yeah, I'm gonna go by the water's edge.
All right. Well, that answers that question.
Fair enough.
Okay. Yeah. Sure. So do you go to the harbor, or do you go toward, or you try to find a beach? What is your locale for this?
Probably a beach.
Okay.
I don't feel like it would be right off the harbor. That
Yeah.
just seems unwise.
That's fair. Yeah. I mean, the harbor spans most of sort of the downtown area here. It's a bit of a walk before you guys find some uninhabited sandbar beachfront, palm trees kind of swaying in the breeze.
What's the water like? Is it pretty water or gross looking water?
It's dark and blue and cold looking more
Ooh,
than anything right
that
now.
looks cozy. Lauren's gonna jump in the water.
You're gonna take a swim?
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, it's a bite as soon as you step into the water, for sure.
She has cold resistance.
Yeah. You feel it. That's all I'm saying.
Well, it feels like home.
Yeah.
And then I will cast Commune with Nature.
Okay. Commune with nature. Over the course of a minute, you become one with nature and gain knowledge of surrounding territory. In the outdoors, the spell gives you knowledge of a land within 3 miles of you, in caves and other natural underground settings. Radius is limited to 300 feet. The spell doesn't function where nature's been replaced by constructions, such as dungeons or towns. You instantly gain knowledge of up to 3 facts of your choice about any of the following subjects as they relate to the area: terrain and bodies of water, prevalent plants, minerals, animals, or peoples, powerful outsiders, celestials, fae, fiends, elementals, undead, influence from other planes of existence, and buildings.
I will look for people. I will look for 2 of the people that are related to what we're doing right now with Sandy, but one of them will also be the Tabaxi, the Flame of Passion or some shit. That'll be my third one. Oh, I'm supposed to be wearing more clothes. They said that they identified me because I wasn't wearing clothes.
I think asking it about specific individual people is not so much the idea as it is like, are there people in the region? What's their like culture? Like who is in the vicinity of this natural area?
When I did that with Lost Shirag, I specifically said him.
I think we were focusing on like extra planar stuff that time, weren't we?
Mm-mm.
You did ask an extra planar question. That's how you found him, because it was like, yeah, there was something weird happening out in the harbor.
We knew he teleported.
And then he went into the ethereal plane.
Right, but I don't
after that.
know when we didn't know that until we had found him.
Well, you asked about extraplanar influences, and that was what tipped you off. Because it was... You're shaking your head, but I'm pretty confident that's what it was.
No, because I literally just asked, I was like, I'm looking for a powerful warlock named Lost Shirag. That's what it was. Because we already knew there was extraplanar shit going on because of the big fucking Leviathan thing. And that's how we were able to locate him, because we located him specifically. And with like that ruling, then we never should have been able to find him.
Well, because I remember that you specifically, or not specifically, you asked about extraplanar stuff because he could teleport. And it could have been anything. So it was like, you asked that, and the information that you got was that, yeah, there was like a planar transition in the harbor not far from the Presidium. Like, the fish in the area saw something and it vanished in front of them, right?
Well, no, because we literally saw him break out of the shackles and then do the thing. And then disappear. Because that was like a whole thing we watched, like Bloodbeard. Lost Shirag, free Bloodbeard.
Yeah. Alright,
wasn't the point of this more to look for the cove, though?
Yeah, well, okay, never mind. We'll just do whatever.
Okay, what is the question?
I have no question. I'm just doing commune with nature to find the cove.
I know. So we're just asking about the cove then?
Yes.
Okay. The spell. You would hear the sound of the waves kind of lapping up against the shore, and you would feel your awareness kind of expanding outward, and you would feel sort of the contour of the coast, both to the north and south of you, as the water is sort of constantly reshaping itself along that line. It shifts from sands to kind of gravel beach to kind of rocky cliff edges. And just like right on the edge of sort of the perimeter of your awareness, your expanded awareness, you do feel this strange sort of reverberation in the water. This echo, almost, of the ocean being enclosed by something. The sensation of almost like a cave along the water's edge, the south.
Huh?
I found it. Or what I assume is it.
Right. Good, we have a direction. Along the water's edge to the south?
Yep.
Okay.
Be about 3 miles out.
Oh. Convenient.
Do you want me to check it out first and see if it's even a thing before we all try to venture out into the water to find it?
Might be worthwhile. Better safe than sorry.
Cool. Lauren will then bid adieu and say I will be back.
Okay. And what are you turning into? Or are you just swimming out?
I'm gonna swim out for now, and then eventually I'll turn into something else.
Okay. What do you want to turn into when you do get to that point?
Probably just a local fish I see along the way.
Okay, sure. So just wild shape into a small fish and continue southward along the coast. There are long waving forests of 10, 20 foot tall, deep, or not deep, shallow kind of sea kelp kind of growing in the shallows around here. You're kind of having to wind your way through these reeds as you go, and it's a distance, but about an hour later, you do eventually see off to your right this shadow in the water as the rock face catching the sunlight through the surface of the water kind of fades away very suddenly and kind of opens up into this enclosed space off to your right.
Okay. I will swim up to it.
Okay. Swimming in here, the plant life growing out of the seafloor behind you very quickly kind of drops off as you find yourself in a much darker patch of water than you were just in out in the open sea. And up ahead of you, you can see there are kind of crumbled rock formations growing around sort of the perimeter of this pool. You can see wooden pylons, these, logs, 20, 30 feet tall, it seems like tree trunks, shorn of their branches, kind of protruding down into the water, jutting into the ground on the cave floor. And next to them, these large, bobbing, dark shapes kind of protruding into the water. One of them well over 100 feet long, probably 15, 20 feet wide. Smaller ones are 20 by 5 or 10. You alright? Ooh. Okay.
Okay.
You would probably recognize the hulls of ships and dinghies, floating along the surface of the water next to these pylons.
Do I see anything cool underwater? Like chests and shit.
Give me a perception check.
From abandoned wreckage. Okay. That is it's like a plus 12, I think. 25.
25.
Yeah.
Okay. There's a handful of crates and barrels that look to have been dropped or sunk or were broken and discarded in the water here, and they are just kind of drifting along the bottom, kind of ebbing ever so slightly in the tidal kind of flow of the ocean in this cave. Nothing that looks like hidden treasure so much as dropped cargo or garbage outright that's been thrown away.
Lovely. Okay. I'll just keep swimming into the cove
Okay.
until I see something that looks like people.
So I will say, from the entrance where you can tell, it's beginning to grow very dark very suddenly as you're kind of enclosed by this cave. You continue swimming, and the water kind of bends. There's a couple of curves in this path you take through this cavern before you reach what looks like a dead end. This is where you would find the holes of the ship and the pylons at the end of it. There is also a kind of rippling, splashing presence against the far wall, up ahead of you, as water is continuously pouring into this cove. I'd say you can make out the muffled sounds of activity above the surface of the water, but from underwater, looking up through the surface, it is definitely very distorted, and the most that you're able to make out really is the presence of one large, like, two-masted ship and some dinghies kind of moored to the piers. You can see torchlight flickering in a few places. Beyond that, not much more detail is perceptible from here.
And I peek my little fish head like I found a nice snack on the surface.
Bloop.
And just pretend I'm munching.
All right. Also, give me a stealth check to not look sussy.
Okay. 17.
17. Okay.
Oh wait, do I need to use a fish's skills?
Fish's dex, yes, for sure.
What is the fish dex?
I don't know. I hoped you had pulled it up.
I had not.
Fish. +3.
Oh. Make that an 18 then.
Oh. Good. So, poking your little head above the water and just kind of bobbing a bit to kind of keep your head up and look. It is not the most crystal clear picture you've ever had as a small fish with kind of glassy underwater and tinted eyes, but you can definitely clearly make out the shape of these ships and these dinghies. You can see the kind of wooden pier walkway that they are moored next to. You can see the shapes of loading cranes. You can see what looks like stairs carved out of the rock, kind of leading up to a passageway, probably about 10, 20 feet up the wall from these ships. And what was that earlier perception check? Like a 20?
It was like a 23.
23.
For valuables.
You can see, the flicker of torchlight kind of shining out of that passageway, and you can also see it in a couple of other places, even higher up the ceiling. Looking at the rear of this cove cavern, there are a couple of openings pretty close to the ceiling of this cavern, that you can see torchlight flickering out of. And between those two openings, there is a pretty consistent waterfall that is kind of tumbling through this small grating up in the wall, spilling down into the cove. And in front of that waterfall, stretching from either opening where you see that torchlight, there looks to be a wooden walkway. There's a handful of humanoid figures milling about the pier.
Cool. I'll get closer to the edge and like to where I can like
Listen in.
yeah.
Okay. I'd say the conversation is pretty limited, but it is. There's enough present that you can kind of make out like these guys are currently unloading this ship that came in last night, and a lot of it is really just like directives of where is this going, what is this, where is this getting stashed, do we send this back to food stores? Is this intended for export? Are we loading this anytime soon? Are any other ships coming in that are expecting this stuff? Da 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 da. It's pretty dry and scant on what we'll call actionable information, but the language is definitely pretty terse and coarse, and it sounds like you're probably in the right place. Just on a guess.
I really just want to be Snoopy, bitch, real bad.
What are you snooping?
Well, part of me wants to turn into a spider.
Okay.
Crawl around and follow where the valuables.
It's up to you.
Fuck it, yeah, we'll do it. We'll send it.
Okay. So, as a spider, so you'll crawl to the edge of the cave where the pool hits the rock and wild shape into a spider.
Yeah.
I'll say give me another stealth check then, as you crawl up the wall and towards something.
Yeah, I'll probably. I think my goal is to go on the ceiling to be kind of. You'd have to look up to see me.
Okay.
Ooh. Ooh. I'm gonna use my inspiration. That was bad.
Fair.
That was really bad. That was even worse.
Ooh.
Well, the total for the first one was a 6, and the total for the second was a 3.
So 6 total.
Yup. I'm just a really noticeable fucking spider.
Good to know. So as this spider clambers up from the water, kind of hewing close to the wall and clambering up as high as you can go, I would say you can definitely see at this point probably a dozen or so individuals in the process of unloading the ship. A couple of guys operating the crane, a couple of guys, loading and unloading it on either side, like on the ship and then pier side. There's some dudes who are in the process of wheeling those packages and everything over towards what looks like a freight elevator, on a winch that's lifts up towards that that elevated ledge with the passageway that leads deeper into the cavern. At the moment, it does not look as though anyone has seen you. So what is Aloran's direction here? Where are you going?
I wanted to see if there was anything like fancy they were carrying,
Fancy?
or like
Say,
that looked valuable, or they were like, you know where to take that. Shh.
um, there is a crate or a chest every so often you see that gets set to the side. A lot of stuff that is getting loaded and unloaded is almost going directly to that freight elevator, like as soon as it comes off the crane pallet. Except for these odd, chests and crates every so often. These get set to the side. You notice for sure.
Well, can I spider over to them and then see if there's like a opening big enough that I can just choop into?
I mean, there's the lock on one of the chests if you want to try and squeeze into that.
Well, sometimes like wooden crates, they have like holes in them, or the wood's like not perfectly against each other.
Yeah. I'll say,
wider.
give me an acrobatics check as you're trying to squeeze through some of these gaps, because these are relatively well-made packages.
Acrobatics is dex again, right?
Yep.
Okay. +4 to stealth. Okay, my stealth roll is actually an 8.
8. Good to know.
Or it's a little better. Ooh. Okay, that's much better. So that would be an 18.
18. Okay. I would say squeezing into one of these chests, you would definitely see it is filled with gold and platinum coins.
Is there enough space for Lauren to turn back into herself?
No.
Cool. Just wanted to clarify. Can I check
this
out?
Is a full chest.
Is that what all of them are full of?
That's what this one is.
Can I try another one?
Sure. As you crawl out of this chest,
Am I crawling right back in?
there is definitely a man setting stuff down, another, crate next to it, and then he just kind of looks up and is like, ugh. Just reaches out for the spider.
He's crawling back in. She's like, oh, never mind.
I'll say give me an initiative roll.
Initiative?
Yeah.
Uh-oh. Oh, the dice gods are nice to me. After the dumb. There's a 19 plus 4. 23. Did he win? I got a 23. Don't tell me he won.
Well, he rolled a nat 20, so
No.
he might have.
I rolled one
Nope.
less.
Nope, it's a 21. So the spider's back into the chest. He's like, ah, and he starts banging on the chest. You just hear this through the wood. And then muffled through it, you hear somebody else out there like, what are you doing? It's like, there's a fucking spider in the chest. It's like, oh, gross. It's like, come on, get back to work. It's like, ugh, fine. I'm not carrying that one, though.
All right. So I hear his little...
You hear them walking away to go back to work.
Cool, she'll go check out a different chest.
Spider climb down the side of the chest, go check a different one. The next chest is similarly filled with coins.
What about the next one?
The next one, this was a large crate. And this one, you see, has lots of, this feathery, pillowy, cottony material, in these big, thick sheets, kind of folded and stuffed between these large, looks to be picture frames that are kind of slatted into this crate. And as you kind of crawl in between them, it looks like these are paintings.
Boring. Okay.
Okay.
And then I think Lauren will then probably just skedoodle and be like, well, this was not super informative.
Okay. So, as you skedoodle away, you do see one of the guys like, there it goes. He starts like, boom, boom, boom. It's like he's about to step on it, and then you're just like, over the side of the rock. He's like, fuck, he got away.
I'm like I can't jump into the water, or else the spider will drown and Lauren will turn into a Lauren.
Loki though.
So she's like trying to find like a little nook to like crawl into. At the
Like a
side.
little crack in the rock.
Yeah.
Sure. Okay. That's not hard to find. I mean, it's a cave. There's cracks in the rock. So you crawl in and just kind of like hunker down.
Yep. Until I hear him thunk away.
Yeah. No, I mean, he doesn't take long. Like, once you're out of sight, he's like, fucking spiders. He just goes back to work.
Cool. Lauren will then take like a peek over the edge, make sure no one's like looking or anyone in the ship's looking at her general area. And then
that one guy keeps like glancing over in that direction. Like, definitely doesn't seem like he likes spiders at all, but he doesn't look like he sees you from where you're kind of peeking. There's a tiny ass spider.
Okay, then she'll crawl to a different area that guy's not paying attention to before she drowns herself as a spider and swims away.
Okay. Sure. So you probably crawl a distance along the cave wall before you kind of lose sight of the pier, kind of around a corner, and then you drop down into the water and back into a Lauren, and just out of the cave. Okay. For the party's part, you guys are probably waiting for
A while.
a couple of hours. Sandy is currently paging through a very crusty book, just kind of biting a finger as she does. She wasn't kidding.
Good to know that the that little furball dude had taste.
How long has it been? Anybody got a watch?
A while. Not sure exactly. At least an hour.
Long enough to be worried?
For the Lauren, I mean, 10 minutes is long enough to be worried.
Hurtful.
Ah, shit, should we go on after her?
Is it unfounded, though?
No.
She does tend to often be gone longer than we would expect.
It's probably. I'll check in on her. Is she within message range, or should I use sending?
Oh, she would not be in message range.
Sending it is.
Cool.
Lauren, it's been a bit. You doing all right over there, buddy?
And then
You
she's
cut
like,
out. I did not hear any of that.
oh, she said, oh God, they got me. And then she's like, I'm just kidding. I'm fine. I'm on my way back. There's like a decent
She's in
pause.
so much trouble.
I don't believe you.
As you should, and I rolled a 3.
Sandy's about to lick her finger and turn the page, and she's like, wait, nope. Just turns the page.
Good try, Burr. Good try.
Say about half an hour, 45 minutes later, eventually, Lauren, you will swim back to the party 3 miles back, close to Freeport, or close to Chaser, and emerge back onto the beach.
Lauren, I told them you were in danger and they did nothing.
Wow.
It wasn't very
That's
convincing,
hurtful.
in fairness.
Was I convincing over the sending?
No.
Hard. I'll have to try harder next
Sorry,
time.
I rolled 17 and I get a +7.
Wait, let me roll a performance check just to see. There's no fucking way, but we're gonna try. Oh yeah, it's a 7.
All right. Well, what you say?
Yeah, what did we learn?
Oh, it's just a cove, nothing there.
No people?
Nope. It was really boring. was a long swim. I almost got squished by a bunch of people. This one guy hated spiders.
So there were
There
people.
was
And there
people
was
then?
a ship.
Okay, she's
And
taking
they
the
were-
piss.
They were
I take it
unloading stuff.
that this means this was our spot. Then we found it.
We
You found it.
a cove.
A cove with people unloading a lot of money from it.
Okay.
Money, something.
And others like food and stuff.
Okay. Well, should we make ourselves known,
I just swim
or
home.
shall we sneak in, all quiet and subterfuge like?
I mean, we can always sneak in subterfuge-like, and if it fails, make ourselves known.
That one.
We do tend to try to sneak, although that's gonna be hard if it's the only way in is through the water.
Oh, that's what I should have looked for.
Hmm.
Well,
Also, it's a little difficult
we
to
have-
sneak with this one and a Pat Barnaby's armor.
Clink, clink.
if we get if we have extra bags of holding, I can carry you all in with me.
I mean, I've got my bag, but I don't think there's really much need for me to be, hiding personally.
Do you want to be wet?
Well, if you're offering.
Not like that.
She's been
Give me
reading
the
that book
guy.
all morning.
You're. Oh my god.
Good
Yep.
find, by the way.
This is going in a different direction, I thought.
Maybe some other day, Sandy, but not today.
Ooh, I'll hold you to that. All right.
I know Burberry hates being wet.
This is accurate. Being wet is awful. Can't swim. Can't do it.
Well, John's fine swimming. The big one's Barnaby.
And
And
Barnaby
then-
can swim in his armor, it's just not sneaky. That was the problem.
Yeah, and we're gonna have to be sneaky.
I
Oh, I
you're
can
gonna have
sink
to be
real good with my armor.
Wait,
sneaky.
Wait,
does
wait,
your
you
armor
have
let
to
you
be-
swim?
What?
Your armor lets you swim, right?
Yeah,
Okay,
I got little floaties.
right.
So can you swim or do you float? For
Depends
clarification.
on how much air I pump into them. If I pump too much, I just float.
Okay.
Alright, well. It's been so long out of game, I don't even know why we wanted to get into this cove. So, do we want to just barrel in? What are we, what are we doing for that? What are we gaining out of that?
This is
That's where what's
presumably
nuts is.
where Corbel is, right?
You know
Oh,
the
did
guy
I-
we're looking for?
Right.
Did I see anybody with that description while I was there sneaking around?
You did
He
not
was the
see
guy who
any.
hated spiders. No.
You did not see any halflings working at the dock. It was primarily like humans, dragonborn, half orcs, and like one elf guy.
Okay. And the cove was Durik, not horrible, right?
Oh yeah, right. We didn't
I
ask where
wrote
Corbel was,
down
did
that
we?
Durik was likely at the cove, and that whatever his name was has never been there.
Key.
Rex. Alright, well, if
we
Durik's there,
want to
then-
find Durik, that seems like a good lead.
Okay.
The alternative was just waiting for Belisar's workers. I guess.
Enforcers.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not opposed to going in there and trying to get to Durik myself, personally.
We could also gain a lot of money.
That's true.
And then Sandy basically told us we can't steal anything, which was like half of our plan.
I'm just advising for your own well-being, seeing as how I don't know who you'd be stealing from, that you should know who you're stealing from before you do. Due diligence and all.
That sounds like more effort than I wanted to.
Then I suggest you hit those fellas the cult's been abducting, since they don't really seem to have much in the way of defense. Probably kick in some doors, root through some shelves, drawers, and the like. It's not too difficult.
Honestly, at this point, sorry, I was just gonna say I think we should go. Let's just go into the cove and see if we can find Derek. I don't think sneaking is gonna work if there's no other way in. So we're just gonna have to kind of be
Or at least
aggressive.
can like a few of us sneak in?
There should be another way in. Otherwise, how do they get the goods out?
Do I need to go back in there and find that out?
You could.
Oh, okay, Tilly, are we opposed to a walk? I think we could spare an hour to get everybody into position. Maybe take a look, around the cave. Did you look outside, in the vicinity? Or just inside?
Just inside.
Okay, so, we could poke around the outside, see what's up. And, see what we see.
Sure, we'll start there.
Alright. So, heading in that direction on foot. There's both a railroad and a well-trod, well-worn dirt road kind of running alongside of it that leaves Chaser and follows the coast in this direction, right? Heading south towards Freeport. And over the course of this hour, as you sort of draw closer to your destination, you can see up ahead that there is what looks to be a kind of a depression in the land as it kind of dips, and you can see that the railroad continues forward in a straight line over what looks like a trestle bridge. But as you sort of crest that hill and begin to descend, you can see this sort of river valley that sort of flows towards the coast, and this river kind of hits this rocky sort of cliff edge and begins to like tumble down into the ocean. And it's in roughly this area, Aloran. This is about the distance you covered to reach this cove. But from where you're standing up on this slope, obviously it's not visible from this angle, looking out at the sea.
Right.
Okay.
Well, I guess we could search the area, see if we find any clues to alternate entrances or ways down.
Here, I can go back into the cove since we're like right here, and go from the inside. Go from the ceiling instead.
Sure, yeah. Take a look around here.
No, well, you can just message me or sending stone.
Right.
If you find it.
Okay.
Before I do.
Okay. So I'll say whoever is searching this valley, give me perception or investigation.
Quick dumb question. Can
Hmm.
Aloran use the sending stone whenever she's an animal?
I can't, but Noelle can still communicate with me. I just wouldn't be
That's
able to
true,
send it
because
myself.
you're using the stone to cast sending,
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay.
and it targets the recipient of the other stone, if I recall correctly.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, I just wouldn't be able to like take out the stone and be like, "Hey, Noelle."
Do it yourself.
I will attempt to perceive, and I will give whoever else wants to perceive a bardic inspiration for them.
I'll give it a go. My perception's not terrible.
Well, I guess I could. I'll stay out here and see.
What's
you're
your
gonna
bardic
help?
inspo right now?
D8.
24.
I got this, don't you worry. I will find it. Because I rolled 16 plus 12. And a D8, you said, Noah?
That was for Burberry.
Oh. Okay. Well, I got a 16 plus 12.
16 plus 12 is 28. Burberry, what was yours?
4.
24, 28, 24.
Noel.
6 for Noel?
26 for Noel.
26, Jesus. Damn. Sandy only got a 20. I feel so bad for...
Oh,
and
no.
Adler.
Sandy missed
Only
out
a-
on one whole roll.
She rolled a 6. I'm sorry.
Oh wait, bardic inspiration is a D10. I don't think it matters, but
Adlar rolled better. He got a 15 plus his... Adlar got a 22. As well. A 20 as well.
keep up, Sandy. Jeez.
Yes, it does. It boosts it to a 26.
Oh, hey, we tied.
So with a 26, 24, 20, was it a 28 from someone?
Yeah.
These are fucking bonkers rolls.
We're good at perceiving things.
Yeah. Two things will become evident to the three of you as you sort of peruse this valley. One, there is something about the flow of the river that strikes you as a little odd as you're kind of watching the currents. It's a relatively smooth-looking flow, right? Like there's not really like a lot of rocks. There's not a lot of elevation changes. But there's a portion of the river further up water of the trellis bridge, or trestle bridge, excuse me, that is sort of burbling in like a kind of a river rapid way. That's a little odd looking. And I'll say Aloran, being the Triton, you take the initiative to go take a peek at that. And from the surface, it's not clear what it is that's happening, but as you kind of poke your head underwater and start looking around the river bed, what you actually find is a manhole-sized metal grating through which water is being drained out of the river. And Aloran and Burberry, I think you guys, not too far from the trellis bridge, kind of up the slope ahead of you, so to speak, there are some, like large stones and like kind of rock slide looking like talus debris, where it looks like the earth was kind of broken up to make room for the support pylons for this bridge. And there is sort of a clearing amidst them. There's almost like a ring of stones that you can kind of see kind of further up the slope, just kind of based on their arrangement, and kind of a dark shadow amidst them. And as you climb up towards them and kind of peer into their center, you can see that this dark opening is not just the shadow these stones are casting on the clustered center of them. There is actually what looks like a stone passageway extending into the earth here, obscured by the rubble.
No, this is probably it.
That's a good lead. Okay.
Good shit, guys. All right.
Looks like there's probably a way to get in through the water too, which probably none of you want to do, but I could.
But yeah, not my cup of tea.
Wouldn't be
But,
quite stealthy for most of us.
Well, I could go in that way and kind of maybe flank or something. If something happens.
The only downside of that is we are unable to pass without a trace without you.
Mm. Fair. We can just do that. That's fine.
I think given we need to sneak Barnaby and John, pass without a trace is going to be important.
Okie dokie.
So I guess we'll try to follow the stairs or the entranceway.
All
I
right.
will do pass without a trace.
So you guys creeping into the rocks, kind of down this passageway.
Yep.
Okay. So as you guys sort of climb up to these stones and sort of start piling in single, one at a time. This definitely does not feel like a frequently used entrance, and this is not like a cargo friendly entrance either. At best this is a footpath, for individuals. And once you're inside, you can definitely see that there are signs of, traffic through this passageway. There are faint, boot prints in the dust on the ground, in the gravel, as you begin to descend into the dark. And it's not a comfortable climb. It's a pretty steep, deep graded clamber down through this tunnel. But as you get deeper into it, you can see places where it looks like, larger protrusions of stone had been picked away to kind of open this passage up some. And the deeper you go, the more the passage opens up until you get to a point where maybe, 100 feet down or so, you're able to sort of like stand upright and kind of shuffle down the sides of these slopes and clamber down the rocks without having to hunker and crouch. And up ahead, you do see kind of the barest hint of kind of flickering torchlight shining at the bottom of the passage.
Yeah.
So at this point, I will have you guys roll your stealth checks.
Well, I get a +10, right, for pass?
With plus 10s, yes.
That is a 28 from a Lauren.
That's a 19 total from Barnaby.
29.
I didn't roll great.
Nice.
Sorry, still rolling.
35.
Ed. Adlar got a 22.
36.
Damn you, Chuck.
36?
He's so much sneakier now.
Jesus. Sandy got a... fucking 8. Is that a 38?
That's a lot of good rolls.
Do it. That's some solid rolls. So you guys are proceeding in dead silence. Like, you can't even hear some members of the party even breathing around you as you guys carefully clamber down to the floor of this cavern tunnel. And in front of you, you guys are sort of at this like 15-foot wide by like 25-foot long sort of cavernous hallway. And at the end of the hall in front of you, there is a single large heavy iron door with kind of a barred grating at eye level through which torchlight is shining. You don't see any people, but you can hear, kind of echoing from the other side of the door and muffled by it, the sounds of humanoid activity up ahead.
Given how stealthy Noelle rolled, I think she might gesture for the party to stop for just a second and go sneak ahead on her own, just to get a closer look at the doorway and
Okay.
see what we can see through it without having us all crowd around the front of
Sure.
the door.
I do think Sandy's probably going with you, but it looks like she's more interested in the actual like handle and lock.
I guess I'll be here to look
So
out.
go ahead and give me a perception check.
17.
17. Okay. So with a 17 on your perception check, kind of like peering through this grate with the corner of your eye, what you see,
Peering through this grate with the corner of your eye.
Corner of my
peering with a P.
I like hearing better. I'm gonna stick with it.
All right.
Changelings have
peering-
weird anatomy.
Peering through the grating, you can see a large circular chamber on the other side of this door. In the center of this chamber, there is a very well crafted stone fountain. You can hear the water kind of like cascading out of the fountainhead and kind of rippling down into the pool. Around it, there are a handful of stone benches and large brass braziers in which fires are burning. And along the walls of this circular chamber, you can see multiple passageways leading in different directions. From this vantage point, 3 are visible.
Okay.
There's one close to the door, one, and then there's 2 that are sort of like on to kind of to the left and right of the point directly ahead of the door on the other side of the fountain. You can hear activity coming from the 2 passageways in front of you. It sounds like there are voices and footsteps and stuff kind of echoing from the left passage. And you can hear voices, footsteps, and also the shifting of wood and on stone as heavy objects are being kind of shuffled around coming from the rightmost passage.
Okay. You hear the sound of like water flowing in any direction, or I guess it would just be echoing around in here, if at all.
It is kind of echoing around. The primary source you can identify is the fountain in front of you.
Right. And what is Sandy doing with the lock?
Sandy has lockpicks out already, and by the time you finish kind of looking around, she's already pulled the lockpicks out and just gives you a thumbs up.
Oh.
She rolled a nat 20 on that.
Hell yeah. Okay.
Which is fucking hilarious to me.
I think-
So that is a 31, I think. Oh no, that's just a straight 30 for her.
Damn. Yeah, well, I'll back up with the group, just give them a quiet update, and then I think it would be more to our advantage to wait, because walking out there isn't gonna... I'm not sure if people are approaching. Because it sounded like there were people heading towards that room, right? Or did we just hear talking?
You could hear activity down those 2 passages, but it didn't sound, or you couldn't really pick up whether or not anyone was approaching or not. It was just you hear footsteps, you hear voices, you hear stuff happening down either direction.
Would I be able to quickly, I guess, hop to the other side of the door once Sandy steps away and peer around the room from the other direction?
I would say just barely. If you're like pressing your head up against the door,
Okay.
you can just barely make out a 4th passage on the right-hand side of this doorway.
Okay.
But it's pretty close at hand. That's why it's hard to see.
Gotcha. Well, I'll give it 30 seconds, and if it sounds like the noise isn't getting any louder, then I'll quietly try to open it.
Okay. I'll say give me a stealth check.
35 again.
Noiselessly, you just press on the door and it begins to swing open. You can slip through. Behind you, I think Sandy has backtracked back towards Aloran.
Mm-hmm.
And Aloran, Sandy has a question for you.
Okay.
What do the guys at the dock look like? The ones that you saw working the boats?
I would describe probably the one that hated this.
Okay.
I feel like the ones we saw the most of.
So, elvish guy, long brown hair, pulled back in a ponytail, just kind of grimy worker's clothes. Sandy will very quickly begin to take this guy's shape in front of you and just kind of tweak until she matches the description you give her. And then she is going to give you a thumbs up, be like, thanks, and head for the door after Noelle.
Well, she'll tell her, remember you hate spiders.
Spiders, bad, got it. I have my motivation as a character. And she's going to follow you after, 10, 20 seconds, Noelle. So what are you doing as you kind of enter the circular chamber?
If they keep going, Lauren's gonna follow.
Yeah, I was just hoping to scope it out, and it seems like people aren't coming, so we could probably move forward.
Oh, I assumed that this was a scouting thing.
I mean, I'm scouting, but I was hoping to avoid just running into people randomly, and it seems like that's not gonna happen. So we're probably okay to get the party all together.
Okay.
There.
All right.
Plus 10, you have to be close to Lauren.
Yeah,
Hold on.
That's part of it too. Also, China, your mic is either not on or super quiet.
Hello.
There we go.
Better.
Yeah, I guess it doesn't have to be just me scouting ahead. We can all reconvene.
Okay. I mean, you guys kind of assemble in this circular chamber.
Yeah.
Without issue. So I will say, stepping into the chamber proper, you can see the passage to your most immediate left has a door in front of it. That one is sealed up by a door. The passage up ahead of you to the left and to the right both have stairs descending downwards from this chamber into other chambers. Actually, no, excuse me. The one on the right has stairs going up. Excuse me.
And the one on the left.
The one to the left.
Sorry.
Flip it. Sorry. The one to the left is going up. The one to the right is going down.
All right.
Stairs up ahead of you on the wall. And then the doorway to your immediate right, the passageway to your immediate right, also has stairs going down.
Going down's probably going to the harbor.
Good
But
guess.
going up could also lead out of here.
While we have a moment to ourselves, I'll glance over to Sandy. Can you get that door open?
She'll give you the once sign, and she'll kind of creep over, and just kind of looking at the base of the door, looking at the door itself. This is more of just kind of a heavy metal, reinforced wooden door. And she just kind of creeps up to it and presses an ear to it before she steps back towards you guys, and she says, "There's people on the other side. We need to be quiet.
A lot of people?
Enough."
Okay. Well, if we're
can
looking
deal with
for Durek, that's going to be an office probably, and not the pier or the dock or whatever.
Right.
So up the stairs?
My impulse is to go up.
Yeah.
And we got a
Sounds good.
50-50 shot on these staircases.
Are we jumping for a fight? Are we going in mass, or do we want to send a couple people up first?
I'd say send a couple of people up first. That way, if it's empty, then we can go in mass.
Yeah. Because, Sandy will just gesture to herself. She's like, I look like one guy. You could look like another guy. We could do a whole loop of this place.
Yeah, I could. Sure. If there's a description I could go off of.
Lauren.
I'll do the guy that yelled at the spider guy.
All right. One of the half-orc dudes.
Alright, people
You were
who hate
yelling.
spiders.
Lauren.
You were hating him.
Okay.
Lauren. What were all of the people who you saw wearing? Were they all wearing like pants or shirts, or were there any weird people with, I don't know, onesies? Um,
DM.
What a specific question.
Most people are wearing like shirts and pants and boots. At least that you saw down at the pier. A couple of dudes are just shirtless. They look like they had their shirts like tied around their waists or something. Just
Okay,
moving cargo. It's a thankless job.
I'm gonna cast locate object on boots.
On
That's
boots.
gonna get a lot of things.
Yes. Yes, it will.
But actually, wait, does it get a lot of things, or does it get only the
It gets
closest of the thing?
The closest of that kind of thing.
So no else.
Oh, just the closest one, so it won't flag the other ones?
The spell can locate a specific object known to you as long as you've seen it up close. Alternatively, it can locate the nearest object of a particular kind, such
Okay,
as a
so
certain kind of apparel, jewelry, furniture.
never mind on the
tool.
nearest then, because my brain went, if I could get all of them, I could guesstimate how many people are in here.
Is
But
Sandy just
never
wearing
mind.
her armor in this guy's outfit, or in this guy's?
No, so her clothes would have transformed into this guy's clothes.
The same idea I did. Yeah, I will also use this guy's armor too. So change my clothing.
You got some too. Nice.
It's our skill set, right?
All right.
All right. Around.
She'll kind of peek around the passages, the other passages in the perimeter. Following her, you can see the stairs going up. Can't really make out where that's going, but it looks like it opens into a larger cavern space.
Okay.
The stairs going down ahead of you to your right, those descend into what looks like a square chamber. This one's like very intentionally like squared off, and you can definitely see like corners of crates and stacks of barrels that kind of line the walls of this chamber before it hits another staircase that begins to descend out of sight.
Let's start with up, I think.
And then to the final staircase, going down close to the door you came in on your right. That leads down into a not much, but a significantly smaller squared off chamber that has a single wooden table with a handful of chairs around it, and what looks like a few open casks of either wine or ale kind of lining the back wall.
Is there anyone over there?
Currently it is empty. You can see braziers down that passage, but they are not lit.
Was there any other doorways leading into that area?
That is the only... there is a doorway in that room leading off to the left. But you don't see any light shining from it.
2 down staircases, 1 up staircase, 1 closed door.
Yep.
Okay. I think me and
Lauren's
Sandy
gonna go.
are on up duty first.
Okay.
Okay. I go down
To which one?
to the one with the open wine casks.
Okay. So Aloran, you descend into this dark room with a table and some casks along the back wall.
I feel like she's like Adlar. Come here.
Okay, he goes with you. And looking down the passageway to the left in that chamber, you can see a closed wooden door. There is light shining through the crack under the door, but you don't see any movement as of right now.
There's no like windows or anything?
No windows. No, you are underground.
I think a Lauren would probably turn to Spider, check underneath there.
Okay. So heading under that door, you would see a square chamber lined with shelves, with a few like barrels and stacks of smaller crates in one corner. It looks like a large pantry.
Like
Like-
food pantry.
Yeah, there's like jars of food on the shelves, sacks of potatoes and other vegetables, and
I'll see if there's any cool looking beer or wine or anything.
any what now?
Cool looking beer or wine.
In this chamber or in the one you're in?
Both.
I would say there's a couple of labels you see on some of the barrels that you recognize, and a few that you don't. And some of them are just completely unlabeled, but you can tell just by the smell, like there's alcohol in this vessel.
Perfect. Lauren is going to just start.
You're gonna open one of the casks.
No, not the cat. Oh, are they all casks?
They're like big fucking like barrels, right?
Are there no bottles?
You don't see any bottles in the pantry.
Cool. Lauren will. If there's open casks out there, they're probably the same. She'll go back out there and.
Okay, so back into the dark room with the table.
Yep, she'll start.
Kind of open some of the taps and pour yourself a couple drinks.
Yep, and she'll just fucking sit down in a chair and put her feet on the table and.
Atlan's like, is this responsible to be doing right now?
I'm always like slightly intoxicated. Yeah. It's fine.
Okay, he'll pour himself one.
Oh
Noelle.
no, Lauren, you're being a bad influence.
Bad adventure influence. So Noelle heading upstairs with Sandy. You guys very quickly find yourselves at the top of the stairs, stepping into this very large, long, high-ceiling cavern space. Directly ahead of you, there is like a stone brick structure built around like a natural stone column that's kind of rising up to the ceiling, kind of supporting it. To your right, there is a second similar structure that's sort of protruding out from the wall. And looking down the length of this cavern, you can see kind of torches at random intervals, kind of interspersed, giving enough light to kind of see the contour of this space. There's a couple more support columns kind of holding up the chamber. Through the middle of it, there seems to be a pretty steady stream of water flowing down from the left wall across the chamber towards the right wall, where it sort of cuts through into the stone. There's some bridges that look like they're kind of built across this stream. Some more distant stone structures, kind of square brick plain buildings in this cavern on the other side of the river, kind of out in the darkness. And all throughout this space, you can see people, humanoids, dragonborn, humans, elves, half-orcs, a handful of dwarves, several halflings, all kind of milling about either the exterior of these stone structures or else kind of gathered around larger braziers, kind of seated on cut logs and stumps that they've kind of set up as makeshift chairs. Some of them are tending to rows of goods and supplies that are under these sort of like canvas awnings that have been set up at a few places. It looks like they're either like taking inventory or like organizing. You've definitely hit a lively center of activity in this cove.
How many people roughly?
I'd say by your count, somewhere between like 3 to 6 dozen people.
Okay.
There's a lot of activity in here.
Anyone that roughly matches or approximates our current look.
Target?
Yeah.
Oh, that your current look?
That we are disguised as.
Sure. I'll say give me a perception check.
Oh, good roll. 26.
26? I mean, you do see some elves and half-orcs in this mix, but none that exactly match what Aloran described for you two.
Okay.
And presumably they are still down at the docks working.
Sure. Okay. Well, let's do a walkabout. Because you said there are other structures in here, or is it mostly that the other structures are like storage areas?
It's hard to say because there's not windows on them. They're just these sort of stone brick, like
Yeah.
sheds almost that have been kind of built in this this cave.
Well, are there people moving crates around out here then, or?
Not like a ton of crates, but there is definitely some item management happening out in the open. And there are, like I said, there are awnings where there are like kind of clusters of containers and loose articles of material sort of scattered around this area. There is one open door on the building directly ahead of you that you can see looks like has recently been kind of entered or exited. You don't see any open doors on the other structures in the area that are visible, though. Although the furthest ones are hard to really make out what's going on there.
Okay. Noelle's gonna go up to someone nearby who looks like they're not super busy.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, there's a circle of people sitting at around a sconce, just kind of like sharing some drinks and just kind of shooting the shit.
Sure. I would just walk up and say, "Hey, do any of you know if Dirk's around today?"
And one of the little halflings is like, "You've done early. I mean, I'd assume he's up in his office." I'll just kind of gesture back towards the far wall of this chamber from you, and you can see across the river that there is a kind of a switchback staircase kind of cut into the stone that leads up to a door with a torch in a kind of bracket mounted on the wall next to it.
I'll say, yeah, we're not actually done yet, but there's some stuff we wanted to report to him.
Yeah. Well, let him know. I'll just go back to...
Sure. I'll meander with Sandy kind of out of their range of vision, or at least, to a different area of the room. And I'll just kind of say, "We going up there, you and me, or are we bringing the rest of the group?"
Well, do we want to keep poking around? Because this might be our only opportunity before shit pops off. What do you think?
We are here to interrogate Dirk, right?
I mean, if we're looking for coal, yeah.
Just the longer we're doing this, the higher chance someone stumbles upon the rest of our group.
Right. I mean, she's thinking and kind of looking over the doorway. She'll say, "You might be able to lure him back, bait him towards the harbor, ask him if there's something wrong, play there's something wrong, I don't know. But get him in range, right? Get your friends to jump him. I am very curious what's around the back end of this, just so that we're not, kicking a hornet's nest with another hornet's nest right next to it. You follow?"
Yeah, we can do a little more scouting then.
Sure.
Alright.
Okay.
Well,
Are you wanting to stick with Sandy then?
Yeah, it doesn't seem advisable to everybody separate, so.
Okay, that's fair. So, kind of following her lead, she'll head across one of the footbridges across the stream, kind of clocking the direction that it's coming from. And as you reach the other side of this cavern space, getting closer to some of these stone structures, you can see one of them appears to be just kind of an enclosed space. There's not even like a roof really built on it. And inside of it, you can see lit by torchlight that it appears to be some kind of armory. There's, racks of weaponry, crossbows, pikes, various, melee hand weapons, a handful of long guns inside of that room. One of the stone structures off to your right appears to be a dormitory. There is actually not really a front wall to it at this angle that you can see, and it's just sort of this open container filled with bunks and personal chests and various articles of clothing kind of strewn about. And there looks to be a third building kind of up on a ledge, kind of up towards the back of this chamber, further ahead. That seems to be more of a kind of an enclosed lounge area. You can see more members of this crew kind of assembled up there around a fire, playing cards and laughing at tables and such. But as you kind of taking in everything, Sandy kind of taps your shoulder and points directly ahead across, this chamber to the very back of it. And you can see at the top of a fairly short staircase, there is a heavy pair of solid steel doors. And across the seam, there is a trio of locks shaped out of a sort of very bright, shining, kind of greenish metal. And Sandy just kind of leans in and is like, yeah, that looks a little important.
No kidding.
Yeah. But looking around, there does not seem to be any more to this passage other than sort of a small segment of this cavern that kind of wraps off to your right out of sight. And you can hear the sounds of the harbor kind of echoing up out from down below into that passage and into this chamber.
Mm-hmm.
At which point Sandy's kind of like, okay, well, I think the only way they're coming up is from behind us, so we should be okay.
So the plan is to lure Durek down to the group. We'll ambush, correct?
I think that's probably the right play.
Alright, well. Let's get our story straight. You saw something by the piers and we want to take him down there to show him?
Yeah, I mean, do we want to let the party know? I mean...
Oh, I can do that. I'll reach in my pocket and just grab the sending stone. Kind of mutter a sending to Aloran.
What? Just kidding.
Huh?
Lauren will be like,
Did you call me?
oh, I was a little
Tell
drunk.
her I'm not here.
I'm not here, I'm getting drunk.
Adlar's got the stone.
Hello, this is Adla. I am answering for Lauren. She is indisposed.
No, I'll cast sending and I'll just say, Sandy and I are going to try and lure Durek down to the hallway we entered from. Be ready to ambush if you see him.
Ah, shit.
What is it?
We have to stop drinking.
Boo.
I know.
Okay, come on, get up.
I feel like you'd get that.
Okay.
She
It
didn't
comes
realize
through
she
the
sent that
message.
to you. and then she'll be actually like, we'll be ready.
No, I was like, yeah.
You alright? You look like your heart just broke.
They'll
A
be
1,000
ready.
tiny pieces.
It's all good.
Alright, rally, let's go. Story, right, what are we saying?
We could just stick with what actually kind of happened, but
You do the talking. You seem like you've got a real knack for this.
I'll do my best.
She will follow you towards that door that the halfling indicated and up the stairs up to the landing. Trying the door.
Mhm.
The handle is unlocked.
Oh,
Do you want to just go? Do you just want to go inside, or do you
I'd
want to
probably
knock?
knock first.
Okay, sure.
Durek, you
So,
in there?
what is it?
Hey, we got some suspicious stuff we got to report. Can I come in?
Fuck you talking about? Get in here. And yeah, the You can open the door,
Sure.
and you can see that Durek, is sitting behind this makeshift desk made out of a couple of crates and a large flat board that he has kind of spanned across them. He's seated on a stool behind it and is kind of like, now he's kind of propped himself back up from whatever papers he was poring over. This is a very large half-orc man. Maybe not quite John's height, but very much in his build. Very muscular, shaved head, big, dark, thick sideburns, and a long, pointed goatee coming down from the lip, and a couple of big scars across one side of his face. The right eye kind of milky along one side of the iris. And he just kind of looks up at you with this very unamused, exasperated expression. She says, "This better be fucking important."
We wouldn't have left our post if it wasn't. This one, and I'll kind of like nudge Sandy, says he saw some suspicious activity in the main entrance, or the, what is it called? The hill entranceway.
It was a spider! It was the worst!
And as I nudge him, I'll say, "Tell him again what you said to me."
Sandy kind of is like, yes, well, I had to take a piss, so I came back to take a piss, and
The stalling is real.
I don't know. I thought I heard something from,
Maybe a
from
giant
the side
spider.
entrance. I don't know. It might be nothing, but I last time this happened, you said don't ever ignore that kind of thing again. So I'm not. And yeah. And
Figured it'd be better for someone who has some experience fighting stuff to go check it out.
I'll say go ahead and give me a deception check.
Do I get Sandy's help for forcing her to help me?
That's your angle, you wiener. Yeah, fine.
You're gonna say words. I want advantage on this. Okay, 23.
23. Thurg just kind of grumbles. It's fucking foreign. Come on. Get some of the boys down front. They've been fucking partying all damn day. And he will stand up from his desk, grab a large two-sided battle axe from the wall, and begin to make for the door.
And we will lead him down and hope that the party is nice and nestled in the entryway at some before we get there.
Okay.
Yeah, Lauren would have gone up to the party and been like, "We're gonna ambush them. So get your get your places, everybody. We're gonna kill people."
We're gonna gank a bitch.
You guys ready to?
Orin, have you been drinking?
No.
We have been drinking.
Yeah, that one.
All right. Well, first, how dare you not invite me? Secondly,
Wait, you want to drink? You never want to drink.
It's like a coin flip whenever you want to drink with us, Barbary.
Wonder why.
look, sometimes I want to drink. I don't. All right.
Well, now I feel bad. I would have totally invited you.
I mean, the cask is still open, but, afterwards.
We need to do
probably.
this first.
Yeah.
And also, didn't Sandy say not to take from people who?
It was already opened. It was a big cask. I'm sure they're not going to miss a few things. And these are the people Sandy was like, "Yeah, go for it. Steal whatever you want." So we're fine.
Meanwhile, as Sandy and Noelle are leading Durek back towards the party, he, as he hits the bridge, he immediately points at the circle of people around the brazier with a halfling. He's like, "Hey, get your shit. We had some trouble out front."
And you just hear this collect like, oh man, as everyone starts grabbing weapons from their side and standing up to follow you two.
Okay.
And Durik begins to reach the passageway at the leading back to the circular chamber with the fountain. Begins to descend the stairs.
Sure.
And it is at this point, I think, given that we have 10 minutes to go, that we should probably call it for tonight. And we will pick up next time as the party rolls initiative to jump this motherfucker and all
You
of his
don't want to
buddies.
do another 2-hour session of combat.
I feel like some people might not appreciate being kept up until the wee hours of the morning, considering they have work in the morning.
It's true.
Yeah, that
Fair
person.
enough.
Namely myself, and also Johnny, and also David,
me.
and also
Yeah.
Kat, and also... actually, I don't know. Clark, do you work mornings? I don't know. Anyways, good session, everybody. I think that we are good to call it here.
MVP.
Can we get an MVP vote for today?
Noel.
Noel!
Yeah, I'd say no way up.
I will take it. Thank you.